welcome to Nerdy Drunken Stone. It's April 25th, 2020. My name's Adam. I'm once again joined by Jason and Michael. What have y'all been up to this week?
Nothing. Like every week.
You haven't played anything? You haven't watched anything?
No, I don't know. What have I been doing? I've been playing Animal Crossing.
Waco's
and
been
Mountain
fun.
Blade. Waco.
Yeah, Waco's been a lot of fun.
That's on Netflix now, right?
Well, yeah, just came out. It's brand new.
It didn't. It's a lie. And everyone's saying that though. Waco. It's what? It's like number 3 on Netflix right now or something. And everyone thinks it's a new show, but it's not a new show. It came out in 2018. And it was talked about when it first aired, but it was on Paramount, and so I don't know. Now it's on Netflix, and now everyone thinks it's a fucking Netflix show.
I haven't seen it. Who's in it?
The guy from Boardwalk Empire is in it. Fuck, what is his name?
The one dude from The Pest.
Mike. The guy from The Pest. The like Italian dude.
No, I keep on. He's the main person in The Pest.
Is it Michael Shannon or is it? So Michael Shannon was the guy I'm talking about from Boardwalk Empire. There's Taylor Kish. I don't know who that is. A guy from The Pest. I don't know.
Oh, John Leguizamo. I can't believe I forgot his name.
He's in that show, really?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, him and the chick.
I mean, Michael Shannon is still an amazing actor.
Yeah, Michael Shannon's great.
The chick that plays Supergirl.
She's in it?
Yeah, I think her name's Benoist or Benoit or something like that.
Melissa Benoist. Yes.
Yeah, she's in it as well. She's
wow. Damn, they have a lot of people in this.
Oh, so it has a pretty stacked cast.
Julia Garner's in it too. Wow, she's on Ozark these days.
What do you guys?
Which is also amazing.
Do you guys remember anything about Waco growing up?
No, but I know what it is. I mean,
yeah, growing up, no, but I mean, once you grow up, you learn about it.
Yeah, it's it's a cult, and then the FBI got involved, tried to shut it down, didn't work. To my understanding, they burned the complex down, kill a lot of innocent people. It was.
I don't want to get super political, or I would do a deep dive.
All I know is that people say it was bad. No. It was not good. Are you done with the show?
Yeah, I'm done with the show. I mean, it's interesting because they do a pretty decent job of showing both sides, like the ATF and the FBI and the people that live there. Which the Branch Davidians, they're still. If you go to Google Earth, the Branch Davidians literally just built another church on top of the one that burned down.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a church of that cult, I guess, is still there. But the ATF and the FBI said that the fire was set by the Branch Davidians, and the Branch Davidians, they say no, mass suicide was never part of the plan. But they talk about how tear gas is an incendiary. And they pumped so much tear gas into that place to get those people to leave that eventually it caught fire. And of course, the ATF and FBI says it wasn't them that lit the
there was
fire.
enough. I feel like there's enough footage to dispute what the FBI and the ATF is saying, but
sure, it's one of those too. Like, I guess that show humanizes the cult, but when that's the thing. Like, even if the FBI fucked up, when you think of like a cult, you're like,
yeah. Whenever you start throwing, but when we start throwing around the word cult,
it dehumanizes your enemy. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
it makes them not that they're the enemy at that point.
Well, like I said, and it dehumanizes them. You're like, oh, they made a mistake trying to subdue a cult. Like, well, they shouldn't have been a cult. So
I had no idea that it was a multiple day thing. I mean, it took 51 days for the
yeah,
entire thing.
I just saw that actually. It reminds me of Jonestown a lot. They need to make a mini series out of Jonestown. Is what they need to do.
No, what it reminds me of is the what's the freaking the ranch standoff that happened just a few years ago?
Oh, you talking about for that pipeline or something?
No.
Oh, with
Shoot,
the
I
native
wish
people, right? Is this
I wish I would
Native
have.
American?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. I don't know.
You said it was recent though?
I know what you're
How
talking
recent?
about.
Mm.
Those guys that were armed and the
Yeah, it
cops.
was.
Yeah.
It was a family, or at least that's how it was. Bundy was it Bundy Ranch?
That sounds
No.
familiar.
Maybe. I don't
That
know.
sounds. Let's see. The Bundy Ranch standoff. Yeah, 2014.
Okay.
It was
Yeah, I
Bundy.
remember
It was the
that.
Bundy Ranch standoff.
Why were
Um,
they fighting with the police? What was their beef? They wanted their
it was
guns? Is that what it
no.
was?
It was claimed that they were basically illegally. I don't want to misspeak. Um, it was
Oh.
basically cattle. They're basically misusing public lands. Is the best way to put it. They were cattle ranchers and they were misusing public lands. They didn't think it was illegal what they were doing, so they continued to do so.
So this is like the movie Open Range.
I've
With
never
Kevin
seen Open
Costner.
Range.
Really, it's a good movie. It's a
But
real. You've
then
never seen Open Range with Kevin Costner? Damn,
no,
man.
I
They're
have not.
cattle herders, and the city says you can't herd your cattle anymore. And then Kevin Costner has a dark past, and then it's a great movie. It's a great western, man. Oh, it's so good, so good.
I've
Has a
never
big
been a
piano
big
thing.
fan of westerns.
That's your problem.
Have you
That's a
guys
big
seen The
problem.
Hateful Eight?
No, I have not.
That is an amazing film.
Okay.
Is it? I've heard from quite a few people that it's one of Tarantino's weaker films, but
That cannot be true.
I'm not that big of a fan of Western movies, but I enjoyed it. I'll say this though, I thought True Grit, when it comes to Westerns, that one was very enjoyable.
that's with the dude in it, right? The remake.
Mhm.
True Grit.
I thought True Grit was kind of boring, honestly, and I do like westerns, but I don't know. I was just like, okay, maybe the story was good when I don't know who was in the original. I think it was John Wayne. It just felt dull to me. I don't know. Which westerns are dull, so I don't know why I'm shitting
Yeah,
on it.
exactly. That's the way I feel of
But
that.
I went to theaters to go see it. We saw it like opening week, I remember, and I was just like, okay. But I think I was following it off of No Country for Old Men. So
Oh, that was
I had unrealistic expectations. I was like, this is gotta be the best thing I've ever seen. And then I was like, oh, it's a John Wayne remake. Oh, okay.
yeah, I had no idea it was a remake at all.
Mike,
Yeah,
give me your top 5 westerns.
I haven't seen
Um,
that many.
yeah, I can't even name that many. I mean, honestly, Hateful Eight and True Grit are like probably. I mean,
No Country for Old Men is a western.
is
So you
that
can,
oh, okay.
yeah, absolutely it is.
Uh,
100%. Slap it on your list.
they just instead of horses, they drive
Yeah.
cars.
Easy. Tombstone, Unforgiven, No Country for Old Men, Open Range, Good, Bad, and Ugly. Easy. It's the most plebeian list, but it's a list.
It's most plebeian list.
I like the list though. It's a good choice.
Thanks. Yeah, everyone go see it. And Tombstone is not like the best movie, but Tombstone's the one with Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. So that's why you watch it.
Yeah, I heard Doc Holliday's the man in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the movie's like almost a little too hammy, but Val Kilmer's performance, like that's why you watch it. You're like, oh man, he's so good in this.
I just don't know anything about. I've never been a Western person, so I don't know anything about them.
Chris Pine had a really good one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Fuck, what was that one called? Hell or High Water. It has the dude in it
Oh.
also. He plays the sheriff. That was a really good movie too.
I feel like I actually saw the one. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, Chris Pine has a brother. They're like bankrupt or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the
Yeah.
very end, he shows about his
Yeah.
house because one of them dies, and then he
Chris
shows
Pine and
up,
him have a
and they have.
conversation on his porch, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
that
I'll
was
forgive you or some shit." Yeah, it's a good ass movie, man.
that
Yeah.
was a quality ass
Me and
film.
Jade went and saw that in the theaters. I remember we were really excited for that one. Speaking
I
of
was
bank,
impressed with that.
man, see now I'm thinking of like bank heist movies. I'm like, oh man, have you guys seen The Place Beyond the Pines? That's a
Every
fucking good
freaking
movie.
bank heist movie ever.
Yeah, what's the one with Ben Affleck?
And by the
I
way,
always
The Place
forget
Beyond
it.
the Pines
Town.
is amazing.
Oh,
The town is good. Yeah, The Town is good. Place Beyond the Pines is fucking great. Man.
The
Okay.
original Ocean's 11. If we're just gonna start fucking doing
Yeah, well,
heist
yeah.
films,
I mean, you could do that. You know,
the
Jade hadn't
original,
seen
the
that.
original.
Yeah, with George
Not
Clooney.
that, not yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're all in all the movies, but the first one's the only one that I think
Well, but there's Ocean's 12
deserves.
and Ocean's 13. They're different named films.
Is that
They're not all
why?
called Ocean's 11.
Is that
No,
why?
you just said the one with George Clooney. I'm like, George Clooney's in all of
Oh
them.
my
That was
God.
my
Mike.
point.
Is that why the Indiana Jones movies are so appealing? Because they're sort of bank heist meets Western.
They're just adventure films to me. It's like The Fifth Element.
I
It's
mean,
an
there's
adventure
always
film.
some kind of thing he's either trying to recover or steal from the Nazis.
I feel like everything gets stolen from him, honestly. It's always Indiana Jones finds something and, oh, just kidding, Dr. Jones.
Like the scene where
Just kidding, Dr. Jones.
in Raiders of the Lost Ark when that one guy just starts whipping the sword around like crazy, and then he just pulls out a gun and shoots it. That's a very Western
Yeah,
It's
a very
badass.
It's an interesting idea.
Of
I never
shooting a
thought
man
about
with
like
a sword. Yeah,
no.
you should try
The
it.
fact that Indiana Jones is a Western slash bank heist combination.
Isn't it?
Because he's stealing something, but it's also this kind of Wild West theme. I think is what Mike's getting at.
I could see it kind of like heist adventure, like what makes National Treasure, what makes those films enjoyable. Which I've only seen the first one. So.
Nicolas Cage. That's about it.
Yeah, The Vampire's Kiss. It's good movie.
What makes National Treasure enjoyable is just it is Indiana Jones. It's a modern Indiana Jones.
As Nicolas Cage. And
With Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Honestly,
Yeah.
that sounds
No,
like
and especially Nicolas Cage prior to the IRS coming after him, so that he had to make a shit ton of terrible films in order to pay back his tax debt.
He's been making some good ones.
Ghost Rider.
He makes so many that a few have to be good.
No. He's been hitting good ones. He had like 10 years of shit, and now what he just came out with The Color Out of Space, which is a Lovecraft story. It's supposed to be pretty good. And then he had Mandy.
Actually did a Lovecraft film?
Yeah, it just came out. And then Mandy, he had Mandy last year, and that was like some like rock fucking
I have not seen it, but
LSD crazy murder movie. We watched it. It's fucking nuts, but it's really good. Like he's really good in it. I think he's aware now of the characters that he plays. So if you put him in the right role, like he can really do well with the material.
It
And
definitely
in a show about taking LSD and killing like hillbillies, yeah, he does well in it.
it definitely didn't seem like a movie that he took because
He just
he needed a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah.
That was one of those that you saw and you were like, wow,
He's made enough. He made 50 paychecks. He can start getting back.
he's given the IRS enough money that
I mean, isn't that what happened to most of these actors? Like they inevitably, like to save their career, they do a movie where it's them and a dog, and that dog is
Yeah.
typically CG.
Kevin Spacey was a cat. I remember that. He did a movie where he was a cat. I was like, Kevin, and this was before Kevin Spacey had an asterisk. And
Mhm.
I was like, why are you in a
he
Nine
had a
Lives?
cat.
It's called Nine Lives. That's what it's called. He
Hold
was
on.
a cat. He was a talking cat. And it wasn't like a CG movie. It was like
Um,
live action.
I
with a
I
cat.
am googling this.
It's called Nine Lives with Kevin Spacey. And like I said, this was like when he was doing what was this big one? House of Cards, and I was like, Kevin Spacey, what are you doing?
He's saving his career, man, just like Nicolas Cage.
Dude, this was in 2016
That's what I
in
said,
July,
man.
so it was less than 4 years ago.
Yeah, before
So
the
this was
asterisks.
peak. This is probably peak
Card game show.
card game.
Blackjack, Ocean's 11.
Holy shit.
This was many years after American, so his fame had fallen.
So he was doing House of Cards and being a cat.
Maybe they paid him a lot. I don't know. Sometimes you end up like a talking dog, just like Mike said. You can't help it. It happens.
It saved Harrison Ford's career. So.
Oh my God! What's that one? What's that new one coming out? Call of the Wild. Oh, we've already talked about it.
Yeah, I think we already did.
I was like, yeah, they just put him up next to a green screen and said, "Here's your paycheck, Mister."
And then he saw it and was like,
No,
"You fucking assholes!"
He didn't see it. I'm
No,
telling you.
no, I'm saying once he saw it.
He never saw it. He doesn't care.
Is those genre of movies just doomed to fail? Like, was Homeward Bound the last respectable animal dog movie? I mean,
I'm sure kids
Animated.
would disagree with you. Animated, it makes it tougher. Like it's when there's a CG dog running around. If he had a real dog, maybe we'd be talking differently about the movie. I don't know. But
probably not.
probably not exactly. Yeah, I don't think I would give a shit either way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't watch.
No, what was Togo with God, what the fuck is it? William Dafoe?
Oh,
I think that came out. I think that came out last year. We watched that, and it basically.
That was the Japanese dog, right? Is that the Japanese dog? Am I crazy?
I thought they were like building igloos or something like that.
No. Togo is. It's basically a story correction of Bonto. Was it Bonto? That's the animated film, right?
Sure.
With sick kids in Alaska, and there's the tramp dogs, Bonto, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You recall I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Essentially, the Disney animated film is about the dog that completed the circuit because there was a series of dogs and their runners that carried the medicine.
What's it called? The
Iditarod.
Yeah.
That they carried the medicine. Togo did some ridiculous amount, like 30 or 40% of it, and no one had ever heard of him.
It's a good dog.
So it was a live action film with William Dafoe and a real dog. Also, they did obviously CG clips because they ran ran across ice that started to break and stuff. But essentially, they displayed how important Togo was to this entire experience. So when you say there hasn't been, I would say that was a good movie that had an animated dog or a dog in general as a centric character.
Thoughts
I don't
on
know.
I Am Legend? Because there's a big dog relationship
Yeah,
there.
everyone's seen. I don't watch dog movies anymore. If the movie has a dog in it, I get very upset. That no one likes dogs in film.
Are
If
you
they
just worried
die.
because it's gonna die, or
Yeah, when we watched The Platform, same thing. Dog shows up like 30 minutes into the movie, and
you're like,
we immediately went fuck. Like, all
it's
right,
gonna,
that
it's
dog's
gonna
not
die,
making it. Yeah,
it's gonna
it's a
die.
fucking horror movie, and you're like, nope. Mm-mm. And then yeah, oh, it wasn't as bad, you know. It happens, and you're just like, all right, they were tasteful, thank God. So, anyway.
So the Better Call Saul finale was this week.
Yes, it was.
And oh my god.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert for anyone
Yeah,
watching.
spoilers. If you haven't seen it, skip ahead. I don't know. We'll put some timestamps, but
We don't want to hear any negative comments.
if you haven't seen it, we're gonna talk about it.
You know, I think it was good. The end.
Is there a but?
Wow.
No, it sounds
There
like
was
there's
no
a.
but. I didn't
It
say a
feels
but.
like there's a. It feels like there's
I
a
just
but.
said, yeah, it was good. It was good.
To be fair, those are high marks for Jason. I mean, I will say. But
Look, it's like it was good if you're like a big Lalo. How do you say his name?
Lalo.
Lalo. If you're a
I
big
think it's
Lalo
fine.
fan, it was a good episode. But even in like the Kim and Jimmy stuff, yeah, you know where they're gonna go with them next season. But it felt a little dry. Like there wasn't much there, you know.
You thought it was dry?
In terms of like Jimmy and Kim, yeah. I mean, cause even then, okay, Jimmy packs his bags, and you're like, oh shit, like some shit's about to happen. And then nothing happens. Like they just end up right back. You know, yeah, they're gonna scam Howard next season, I guess. But you know, like nothing. They didn't really move anywhere throughout the episode. And the hotel they stayed in, I had a random thought. I was like, is that where Walter White and them stayed when they had to like leave their house? I don't know that it was. I haven't looked that up. I just had the immediate thought of like they're staying in a nice hotel where you know from wherever they're
When he's
from.
floating around the pool and shit
Yeah,
and
I was like,
chilling.
yeah, I was like, I wonder if it's the same hotel. It knowing the Mr. Vince, it probably
Yeah,
is.
Vince Gillian is
Yeah.
knowing him, and he is a master at this point. I give him so much credit
So
for.
go ahead, Adam.
No, I was gonna say I give Vince Gilligan so much credit for how popular those two shows have become. Because I think I shared an article with y'all today that about how Better Call Saul has overcome the prequel curse.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, look, we have the prequel Star Wars movies, and those are better than the originals. So.
Yeah, it was about TV shows though.
I mean,
Oh,
Jar
see,
Jar was
I was
never in
making
the
a horrid
originals.
joke.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the stuff was great with the prequels, but would you say that this finale met your expectations?
I don't think it did. No. I thought it was good. I don't know what I expected. You know what I did expect? I expected a death. That's what I expected. I didn't get it. I got no deaths. So we're just, again, like, here we go into next season. Everyone's still here, and that's fine. But come on, you got one season. You got to start Gotta get this shit moving.
Man, this
Yeah,
is like
especially
Game
the
of
fact that
Thrones.
the fact that they said that the next season is the last season,
Mhm.
and as we even discussed, I think last week was we were looking forward to what is going to be the flash forward
Oh yeah.
because it's the season finale, and then there wasn't one, so no one technically important died. There was no flash forward, and we're going into the series finale season.
Well, they,
So
they only flash forward on the premieres. That's their thing every season. The first scene that you get, the beginning of every season, is a flash forward. You know, past
no,
Breaking Bad.
yeah, I understand that, but so you're just gonna do one more flash forward, and then go. Is the
Oh, I
flash
see what
forward gonna
you're
spoil
saying.
it at this point? Like
No,
you're
you're
running
gonna
out of
get
time.
no.
You're running out of time.
You're
So
getting two. You're getting a flash forward at the beginning of the season, and you're gonna get one at the end. I mean, I would hope so, dude. If you don't get one at the end of the show,
exactly, it's gonna be
but if you
blue
don't get
ball. It's gonna be blue
Lalo
balls.
showing up and shooting Saul Goodman in
Nacho
the
in the
face,
face.
no, Nacho won't be in the flash forward. Nacho will be dead. But you know, it's just some shits. Oh man, Lalo's still alive. I fucking know it, man.
See, isn't that
I hope
though?
Nacho gets out. I hope Nacho gets out.
I
'Cause
can't
I
see him
love
getting out.
Nacho.
I know, but there's no way, man. He's a fucking god. Now Lalo's looking for him.
Oh yeah.
That's how the
Yeah,
show's gonna get.
the fact that whenever he came out of it alive, first of all, Lalo is a fun character, obviously,
That's why he's still in the show. You can read
and why?
interviews with Vince.
Yeah, but whenever he just leaned down the tunnel and just like puts the gun down sideways,
Blind fired down a tunnel. Yeah, I
yeah,
have an issue with that, but whatever.
I'm not sure a
No.
SEAL team member could blind fire sideways with his
And then
arm.
like he's moving, like he's like a fucking. It's like he's weed eating with the fucking gun. Like, dude, why wouldn't you just shoot down the fucking tunnel? Like, it's like I know I'll shoot all the fucking walls too. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
because
know.
he's trapped.
Can
He's
we
trapped if he goes
I
down.
know.
can we
Yeah,
also
he
talk
should've-
about the fact
why
that that
wouldn't
was
you just
obviously El
drop down
Chapo?
and then just pop, 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 pop? What El Chapo? What the fuck are you talking? What are
The
you on
tunnel
about?
thing. The tunnel thing. That's
No,
what he's getting at.
it
I thought
was
that was just a
a
cartel thing.
no.
No, no, no.
El Chapo escaped
Out of his
from
bathtub.
it was a bathtub that he built a tunnel underneath. The second that happened, I was like, this is El Chapo. This is
Oh.
a reference. I mean, not a reference, or at least it was a idea that he got from real life.
Now that being said, I did enjoy that. The episode did a lot of things, right? Like, yes, we only briefly saw like Lalo's family, if that was his family, you know. But I
His
enjoyed the
family
fact
and friends.
I enjoyed the fact that his character was so like we've never seen him like pissed, and he was like deeply pissed off because you know, and that's been like his character. What does he always tell Don Hector? You know, like family is everything. Family is everything. Like he's a big family guy. So yeah, when fucking mom gets shot, you're just like that's why I don't think that
When they
Nachos making it
showed her, I was like, oof,
like
oof.
Lalo is gonna kill anyone to get to Nacho because he knows. I think he knows at least. He saw the glass of whiskey. I think he put it together. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I mean, as
So,
far as I'm concerned, the show should be called Better Call Lalo.
I don't even know that we will see Lalo next season. Honestly, I mean,
I heard an interview. I read an interview with the guy that plays Lalo, and he says the only thing he says is he hopes that his character that Lalo gets a worthy death, is what he hopes for.
I don't
So-
even know that he'll die. Like I said, he might.
He wasn't in Better Call Saul, and I mean he wasn't not better. He wasn't in Breaking Bad, and
Well, no.
you have the Salamancas and everyone else.
Nope.
There's no way that someone like Lalo is
No.
not a part of that business.
Well, he can't. he can't be. Look, they've already reported. He got on the radio. They told Gustavo that. So Gustavo thinks that he is dead. I know that's kind of, to me, that was a little silly. Like, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll help you." And you're like, "Okay, trained Navy SEAL guy, you really think the cartel guy?"
Whoa,
Like, you get on the radio and you go, "He's fucking still alive."
These were not Navy SEAls.
No, they were
Okay,
not. They
these
were
No,
were
he
like
said they were
the
trained, or they're
No,
the
he
best.
said
They're the
these are
best.
some of the best men. It was
The
like
best.
if us three put on fucking ski mask and tried to go take out a fucking cartel, dude.
We're
Here,
elite.
here's your gun. Where's the safety? I don't know what the fuck. Like, yeah, what kind of ammunition does this take? Like, yeah, dude, they were straight garbage. Like, that really that was probably my number one gripe. And I usually don't harp too big on like realism from my hitmen and shit, but they were
Oh,
just
okay.
like
I was like,
so
really don't
ba-
cry.
No, like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna be like, wow, look, his trigger discipline was shit or something. Like, oh, look at, you see the way that mag ejected? That doesn't even fucking, no. But they just acted so dumb. Like, going through the tunnel, they're both facing this way. You don't have someone
No,
watching your
that
back.
yeah, that really didn't make
I was
any
like,
sense to
you're
me.
gonna just crawl in a tunnel with the fucking cartel. You don't know that you've killed everyone. Like, it's not even Lalo you have to be worried about. You aren't worried about someone shooting you in the fucking back. Like,
Yeah. Realistically, if you had two individuals that I would assume were military trained, you would have both go in, and one would
military
be
trained, fucking first person shooter trained.
one
I play
one
counter
one would be
watch my back, man.
one would be crouching forwards, and one would be
Yeah.
back to back walking.
Adam, I think they might spawn behind us. You should look that way.
Yeah, it's not even a freaking video game.
Yeah, exactly. And then the guy in the kitchen, not the guy that got the grease on his face, the other one that just shoots for like 10 seconds at pots and pans. I was like, why don't you just walk up to the dude and shoot him? Like, what the fuck are
I
you
mean,
doing,
but
man?
dude,
Like, what do
if
you-
you can't see, if someone has blinded you because you
I'm
can't
not
smell
talking about
Lalo's
grease
No,
cooking,
he
man.
said not the grease guy.
It's
Oh,
the
not
other
the
guy
guy.
comes in, because there's two of them that come in and he hits one with the grease and he's down for the count. But the other guy just starts shooting and just keeps shooting, spraying around the kitchen. Like, you saw where he went. He's
Really?
going down the hallway.
It was literally spray and pray.
Yeah, just
it
and,
was
and
a
just stop and literally take like 5 steps and be like, "All right, see you, man, pop." Like, it's been fun because you killed all of his bodyguards like super silently, I guess. But I don't know, man. I mean, I get it; it's part of the show. But I was really like, wow, these guys. I thought Lalo was gonna get like more badass moments from taking these guys out. Instead, yes, he still looks like a badass, but it's almost like, well, yeah, you look like a badass because these guys are fucking morons. Like, I wanted to see Lalo really like outsmart these dudes.
when Gus says that he got the best of the best, is he talking about just the cartel? Because if you look at that from that angle, maybe you could say that these are the best soldiers, the elite of the cartel. I mean, they've never been like super sophisticated in the way that they typically they're on Front Street when they're like killing people in that show.
I don't think Gus would go to cartel members
Yeah,
because
I think
that make the most sense?
that would be fucking that would be fucking dangerous. Why
Gus
would you
went to
go?
Home Depot and hired the best assassins he could find at fucking Home Depot.
He didn't go to Home Depot, but my point is, why would you go to the cartel
to kill
Well, look at
cartel.
Saul. Look what happened to Saul.
kill cartel members because it could get back to them?
When
So
Saul went to go get that money for Lalo, who did he get jumped by? Same group of cartel people. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
really
true,
think
actually.
I don't really think it's that outlandish to think that. I mean, because that makes it a lot more sense to me than if it were U.S. Navy SEALs that had never shot a gun before.
No,
I just
they
assumed
definitely
that
weren't
they're
SEAls,
I just
but
assumed that
they're
they're
mercs.
mercenaries of some kind.
I mean, when
yeah.
you say that they're the best of the best, it's typically what you
But that's
think
not
of.
that's not a quote. I think exactly is like we have
he said the best.
some best. Yeah, these are some of the best men on it. He didn't say best of best.
Yeah, some of the
But-
best. He
and
said
again,
some of the
if you
best.
that's really my gripe goes from the fact that that line was in the episode. If you just remove that and he just said, we have some guys on it, you know, and I'm not saying you have to just say like we hired some guys, it's being taken care of. That's fine. But you called them best and they were anything but.
There are multiple versions of that dialogue that you could have put in that
Yeah, it doesn't hype
they
these guys up to be like
didn't make
badasses.
them sound like Navy freaking SEALs.
Yeah.
See, I disagree only because imagine how Gus's character looks if he's like, yeah, we have some guys on it, and they get destroyed, and he looks
Yeah.
incompetent. It makes Lalo look more badass. Like if that, I think that's the angle they were going for, is the fact that these guys are so good, and he made them look silly.
They should have just wrote those hitmen better. That's all I gotta say.
I agree. I agree.
But okay, so again, get back on fucking track. So he calls in, and so to Gustavo's knowledge, Lalo is dead. And then when he's talking to Hector later in Breaking Bad, after they've wiped out the cartel, spoilers, he says like the Salamancas are dead. Like you're the last one. I've killed your whole family. So either at some point Lalo does get the axe, or he is very much still alive. And just to Gustavo's knowledge, he does not know that he's dead, or still alive, rather. So
I mean, dying and disappearing, as far as this story's concerned, it's the same thing.
yeah, because Lalo.
If he drops out of the game, then it's still.
But that's my point though. He's not a nobody. That's why I think that you might see him in the future, like in those flash forwards, because I mean we don't know how Jimmy's story is gonna end. I mean,
I see what you're saying. Like Lalo was assumed dead.
yeah, and I don't know why he would go after Jimmy. Honestly, that's kind of a weird. Like why? Because his wife talked shit on you in your apartment 5 years ago or some shit.
I mean, maybe vengeance.
But in my head, he only goes after Nacho. Like he cares about Gustavo up until the point that he wants to be a ghost. You know, like then you don't go after Gustavo again. Who you go after is the guy that fucked you over, which is Nacho. So you probably go and you kill Nacho's father to really hurt Nacho. Actually, that's probably what they're gonna do. He's probably gonna go kill his dad first.
I see. The thing is like the entire season though has been his goal has been to screw over Gus, confront Gus as much as possible, appear like allies, appear like things are copacetic, but on the other hand, on the flip side of it, be his biggest like competition. And so
Yes.
I don't see like yes, like I guarantee he knows who sent those guys. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I can't. I feel like it's way more likely that Lalo will meet his death somehow, taking on Gus in some capacity, because he doesn't seem to be a guy that pulls punches.
No, but at the same time, I just don't know. I don't know where his character is going from here. Again, is he going to play the? And it seems like he's playing the "let people think I'm dead" card, so you can strike, but you only get that one shot. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You only get one card, and once people know you're back alive, you're back alive. So, and we don't know again what his motivation is. Is his motivation revenge on Nacho? Is he gonna go after Gustavo? You know, will he approach Jimmy in some capacity? You know, like we won't know till next season. You know, really his character is the mystery, I guess, especially now. I mean, I think you might like legitimately not see him for most of the season.
Because it could be assumed that he is dead, and
Oh, it
no
is.
one,
I mean,
no
he
one,
is.
no one can confirm or deny it. So Lalo is obviously on a mission at this point, but no one can confirm that he's dead. But everyone else is. So if you did know Lalo until series finale, that would be a very powerful scene.
Yeah, it'd be a good
Even if it was a
twist.
flash forward, like
I don't know.
you drop him from the show, and then in the flash forward,
I think it'd be a little jarring. He needs more motivation if he's gonna show up and kill Jimmy. I said it would be nice to see Lalo come and get a Cinnabon,
Now,
and
what was the
they
gift? What was the gift that you sent me?
oh, he jumps down from the ceiling
He
and kills
he
Jimmy
falls through the vent. And
at
he's
the
like, "Da, da,
Cinnabon.
da, da."
Yeah, but I think it'd be, and this will never happen. But in my fantasy, I see the season opening and Jimmy's at work making a Cinnabon, and fucking here comes a customer, and they just boom meet eyes, and they both know who each other are, but hey, I'm Greg, and he's like, yeah, my name's Hector. Nice
Yeah,
to meet you.
Lalo
Nice
would
to
do
meet you,
something like that.
Hector. Yeah, and Lalo has this big dumb smile. Nice to meet you, Greg. And then they could just cut there, and you're like, oh fuck, you know. But just some shit like that, you know, that would be so cool to me. But they'll never do that. I hope to God they do though. But who knows? What Jimmy still has to. So I guess we have to open the next season with Jimmy dealing with those two guys that recognized him as Saul, and he didn't get his vacuum to disappear. He told the guy, I'm gonna handle it myself," and he hung up. And that was the last thing we saw of him in the future. So he's going to take care of these guys in some way or another. I'm excited for that, honestly. I'm fucking super excited for that.
I feel like the one way that Saul can redeem his relationship with Kim is if something happens and he falls on the sword for her.
But that's not what's gonna
Basically,
happen. It's going the other way around, man. Kim is gonna fall on a sword to save Jimmy. We all know it's happening.
Now,
We all know it's coming.
I fucking wrote notes for the fucking last episode. Was Kim has never been so fucking sexy, and did
She's
Kim
not even that
did
sexy. What are you
did
talking
no her personality and how she's behaving.
No,
Did
she's
Jimmy
behaving
change?
irrationally.
No, did Jimmy change Kim, or
Was Kim always?
was
Yeah.
Kim always that way? And Jimmy just gave her permission to
Well,
be that person.
but not even permission. Like maybe she just she's in love with the con. You know, she keeps the little bottle topper from the tequila, and
Mhm.
that always comes back up. But again, she did it once and she's never had a problem with doing it again. It's not something that we've ever seen her like orchestrate herself, but she loves it when Jimmy does it. You know what? I think it was in season 4 or something when they pulled off some big something, and immediately, you know, like you're like, oh fuck, this is the end of the relationship, and she makes out with Jimmy and like the fucking stairwell. You're like, damn, like she loves the con, like she's really drawn to that. And I think, yeah, I think we're seeing her step out of like Jimmy's shadow and do her own thing, you know, plotting against Howard. But you know, will it be her downfall? Spoilers, yes it will.
That plot against Howard,
That's gonna fuck them in the ass, man. They're fucked, man.
and even hearing that from Kim's mouth, I was like, oof.
Yeah, it sounds, you know, when Slippin' Jimmy is telling you like, hey, look, you got a fucking problem. You got to put the crack pipe down.
I think it's Slippin'
Mike,
Kim. I think it's Slippin' Kim. I think I feel like
She's too hungry.
until she met Jimmy, she would have never done anything that would have gone against her ethics. Especially with the straight edge lawyer persona that they've been trying to project for her. And I feel like she's now starting to get lost in, ooh, we can do that and we can do this.
Yeah, I know I can do it. She has the confidence now because she's done it so many times.
And I think that's why Jimmy has to either send her to jail or send himself to jail or something where he overrides her and he basically says like, this is like better
Oh,
for
this is
you.
to save you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Because let's face
I
it, all the time, their entire relationship, she's been the one bailing him out. She's been the one making exceptions for him, bending the rules for him. He's never had a moment where it's reciprocated. And I feel like that would be a very perfect way of redemption for his character to see, like, see, he's not a total piece of shit like Walter White. He does care about people. Because if he doesn't and she gets screwed over, there's no difference between him and Walter White.
I
My
mean,
question would be, not to cut you off, Jason.
no, you're
My
fine.
question would be if I feel almost as if she was trying to like Jimmy and Kim had this attraction for a reason, and Kim was doing what you're taught is right and what's you're taught is moral and whatever. And she fought against it, fought against it, fought against it, but she saw it working for Jimmy.
Yeah, and
And
Jimmy's good
she
at
then
it, you know.
and then she saw it being successful, and then she gave in to what she always wanted to do. And now she's going even over the top, for Jimmy, like
Yeah.
more dramatic
Well,
version.
and I think because I think in her mind, like you said, it becomes this. Look, he was just on a cartel mission where 5 guys got killed in the desert. They killed, him and Mike killed a guy. This guy came into our house and threatened us, and we got away. I think she feels bulletproof. So something like going after Howard's reputation to her, in her mind, is like small fries. It's like, well, we're not trying to kill anyone, so we can definitely get away with this. But I think Jimmy knows better. Like he's like, hey, look, like it's to take down someone like Howard, like that's a tall fucking order. And in her mind, she's like, what are you talking about? Like you just walked through the desert with $7 million. And he's like, yeah, but that's walking. Like that's not fucking like conning a smart man who knows that we're con artists like out of their fucking reputation. I think I think they're in trouble conning Howard next season. I do not see them pulling that off.
The executioner on the show, you can very much say, is Mike Ehrmantraut. How
Oh yeah.
awesome would it be if Mike killed Lalo? Like if those cards played out that way. Maybe he's protecting Gus, and he ends
It
up
would be
shooting
amazing
him.
if Mike killed anyone,
Yeah.
because it's Mike.
I mean, that's the showdown. I
Any
mean,
any
yeah.
bad guy.
Mike versus Lalo is like the fucking Clegane Bowl or some shit.
Yeah.
The clicking. It's perfect, man.
Yeah, and that is what it is. It's like now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, I guess that is what everyone wants to see. I don't think we'll see that though. That's almost like too far-fetched for this show. You know what I mean? Like they might encounter one another. It could be like a No Country for Old Men, to bring that back up, where like, oh, Lalo has an attempt on Gus's life, and there is a moment where they are pitted against one another, but both come out, relatively unscathed.
There's a conversation
Yes, yeah.
where it's badass versus badass,
Or
and they back off,
knowing
and then
Mike,
they go back
knowing
up.
Mike again. Let's play this one out. Lalo does to get at Nacho because now it is about revenge. He goes and kills Nacho's father. And then maybe Nacho goes to Mike and says like, "Hey, look, you guys think you killed fucking Lalo, but he's not dead. Like someone just killed my father. Like, and it's Lalo." And that's you could pull something with that. Like, no, 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 I'm telling you, he's still fucking alive.
Do
Like,
you think Mike would then feel inclined to help Nacho? Because I think he feels
100%.
bad for him.
Oh, I think he's going to try to help Nacho behind Gustavo's back. I think that's kind of where we're going.
That would be real dangerous.
Because he's reaching for him every episode. Every episode he's picking at Gus.
It's because of the guilt of Mike as his son. I feel like there's a connection
Oh,
of
maybe.
like him as a distraught father wants to help this guy,
Yeah, the
this
son that's
kid.
trying to get out. The son. Yeah, absolutely. I never made that comparison, but you're absolutely right.
But
Yeah.
I don't think. But the problem is that goes against everything that's Mike. Mike is all about the deal. What's
No,
the deal?
Mike will say yes to Gus, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to try. And even to some extent, Mike is smart enough to maybe try to interject if he knows there's no way for him to like get caught. Like he'll play a hand if he feels like it can't come back on him.
I mean, that's true because he did tell Saul, he was like, listen, you show up at my house and I'm going to tell you what's up.
I'm going to tell you what's up. Now get the fuck out. That could have got him in trouble. Absolutely. Good point. But yeah, he leveled with him. And same thing, him showing up at Saul, Jimmy's house to like put the sniper on Lalo. I'm not sure that was like a Gustavo thing. I think that was like Mike going out of his way to try to save Jimmy's life, you know?
I mean, because Gus said if Lalo dies on this side of the border,
yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm sure Gus would be like, yeah, who cares? Let him shoot a lawyer and his wife. Like that has nothing to do with us. You're gonna. Here's Gustavo. You're going to jeopardize our operation. You know, fucking no way. Let him fucking die. You know?
So were they screwed if Lalo decided to shoot them? Would Mike have shot him?
No, Mike would have intervened, but again, that would have been a moral decision by Mike. Bad for business, good for his conscience, I guess.
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta shoot a German man in the face. I don't know.
I feel so hard for Mike's character because he
so dark.
He literally
so dark.
He literally like humanized himself so much.
He's like Walter White if Walter White never became
an asshole.
You know? Yeah, if
we both became an asshole.
Stuck to his guns of like, this is my family, and these are the lines like I won't cross and shit. Yeah, because Walter White is a sympathetic character for probably 3/5 of the show, probably the first 3 seasons. You sympathize a lot with Walter White. You know, this is what's funny when they fucking send Mike to go kill Jesse and they have to kill Gel and everything. Like, you are like on Walter White's side. Like, man, Gustavo's in the wrong. This Mike guy's in the wrong. Now you're like, dude, fuck Walter, man. They should have just shot him in the face. So, like, Gustavo really fucked up hiring that guy, man.
Oh man, looking back, I still wish Gus would have won. I would have been okay with it.
Now, yeah. And especially once you get to the end of Breaking Bad. But yeah, season 3, when all that's going down, you're still on Walter White's side, you know, like you're like, yeah, like you guys got to get out of this, you know. Man, I hate to reminisce about that show, but I remember I think I picked it up when season 3 had just finished. And getting to that end when like Jesse has the gun at Gel's doorstep and having to wait for another season, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I have to wait another year for this shit? Like, I remember being like so on edge.
Wow.
Like, oh man.
I mean, yeah, I recently, maybe it was like last year, I got caught up in Breaking Bad. So I just binge watched all of it in like maybe 2 weeks or something like that. So I unfortunately didn't have, but let's be real, that guy was gonna die. I don't think, Jesse wasn't gonna be like, you get a pass, you know.
I mean, you know, and that's the whole thing, you know. Jesse, everyone has such a fucking bleeding heart for Jesse, but like he makes really terrible decisions, a lot of them throughout the show, and everyone wants to see him get his happy ending and shit. Like, I mean, he made his choices, like Mike says. You went down the road, and yes, showing up at a nice meth chemist house and shooting him in the face. I mean, you know, your fate is what you make it. You know, maybe you should put down the fucking pipe, man, and pick up some bags of money.
When you think about it, where did
JMM? What does it stand for? Just make money.
He was found. He was introduced as
as a junkie. Yeah,
as a junkie who
low-level dealer, I guess, at that time.
He was a low-level dealer who understood the game. That was
somewhat
where they found him.
Yeah.
He was built up, but
that's a good point. That's a good point.
You can only grow so much in that little period of time, and he was angry. You get vengeful.
You're right. Now that I'm thinking about it more.
The main reason people are attracted to him is because of the things Jesse loses. Not because of all the things that he does. It's because like, he lost his family, he lost his girl, he is losing his mind, he lost his sanity when he got caged by that chubby orange-haired guy.
The Meth Damon.
I would be angry also.
Yeah, if I was put in a cage, I might be a little upset. I'm not sure. Stuff
I want
happened to
him.
me.
I would want revenge, so I want him to get revenge.
But but you're humanizing him actually quite well because he does grow after he has to go kill Gal and kind of the game, as Mike calls it. He's so far in the game that he has to commit like this horrible crime, this horrible action. Yeah, season 4, he's like a fucking wreck, and then season 5, he's on like the path to redemption before the meth heads get him and shoot his fucking girlfriend in the face. Which man, oh man, that fucks me up just thinking about, man. That was because it was just so shocking. I remember being like, "What? Like, are you serious, man?" Like,
It still wasn't his hottest girlfriend.
it doesn't matter though. Like, just the way that like she got executed, like just so cold-bloodedly, and like she like really wasn't in the game. You know what I mean? Like, as Mike says, like, yeah, Kim's in the game now. Like, that chick was not. She was just some chick. Like,
She had no idea. She had no
yeah,
idea.
she had no idea why. Yeah, if her ghost came down and was looking at the situation, she would still be like, "Why'd that guy just shoot me? Like, what? Who the fuck are these people?" Like,
So why do you think that Kim's gonna get a pass when people who aren't even in the game?
Because
She did it. She joined her. She didn't have to go down to see Lalo. She
but that's my
interjected
point. They're not
herself.
going after Lala. They're going after Howard. That's why she's not gonna get like killed, but she'll wind up in prison because she's gonna end up like at the what the lawyer does. Howard doesn't kill you. He sends you to fucking prison.
That would be a shocker if he just like at the end, last episode, he just pulls a
Oh,
gun
right, yeah.
on Kim, shoots her
Howard
in the
says,
chest.
"Fuck this. I'm tired of this shit." Yeah, right.
This is
Holy
for my
shit.
car. Bang.
No, but what I said, I think last week was, there's no way that the Jimmy or the Saul from Breaking Bad is
Yeah.
someone that Kim's dead. It's impossible.
Yeah. If she dies because of Jimmy's actions, you do not end up with what are we? Tuco gets out of prison in 11 months, so we're like a year and a half off of Breaking Bad time. Probably like a year and a half.
Yeah, and he's chill and relaxed, and
His conscience is clear.
he's still a con
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
but
like you said.
he doesn't seem very upset, or he hasn't changed at all. So I think if you got the woman that you maybe not loved but cared about killed,
He loves Kim. Don't pull that shit. He loves her.
I mean,
either way, if she
by the
died,
law, it says he does.
he would be a different person.
The only thing Jimmy cares about is Kim. That's the only thing he cares about.
The only thing Jimmy cares about is Jimmy.
If Jimmy cared about Kim, this would be a much
Jimmy
different
cares about
show.
slipping.
Jimmy cares about
can't
Jimmy.
Stop slipping, man. He's on ice, man. He can't get his footing. He's just slipping.
I feel like it's the love relationships never go well, whether it's Breaking Bad or Breaking Saul. They never go well. And I don't. And the way he carries himself in Breaking Bad, it's like his conscience is free. So
yeah,
I don't see. It's like Adam said. He doesn't seem like with Jesse. You see all those things dragging his character down. There's none of that with Slip and Jimmy's character. So I feel like there's got to be something, maybe a maturing moment for Jimmy where he's like, I can't let you do this to your life. Like, I don't know.
I like your take is interesting. Jimmy does something to save her, basically rehabs her. But I still think Kim falls on the sword for Jimmy. I think they get in too deep with Howard. They have to go to prison, and Kim takes all the fall for Jimmy, because she loves him. She loves him unconditionally. We know that.
But could Saul could he live with himself, like as carefree, knowing that she falls on the sword for him? That's my biggest issue with that theory.
If
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
how they
resolution,
spin
if
it.
there's a resolution coming, which I know I said in private that yes, I do think the show's going to end with a resolution to Kim and Jimmy. Possibly a good one, like her getting out of prison and him meeting. There's a date floating around. That's what I think. I think they might actually get some kind of happy ending. I hope to God, Saul. I hope to God that Jesse Pinkman is not the only person in the show that gets to live in beautiful Alaska. Jesus,
So,
don't kill Jimmy, man.
what do you think is the point of the flash forwards?
Well,
What is
it's the contrast. I mean, it's all. That's like
it's not just the
answers to a
contrast.
question.
There is a
His life then, now.
there
This is
there
his
is
life
an end
now
point.
because of the mistakes he made.
There's
You
an end
know.
point that's coming.
Oh, 100.
So what do you think that is?
No.
You think they're just gonna go, oh, we're just contrasting him whenever he was a lawyer as opposed to
Look,
when he was
I'll
working on
tell you right now.
Cinnabon.
In season one,
There's something that's coming in that black and white
yeah,
view.
obviously there's something coming. Clearly.
And I'm asking you, what do you think it is?
Okay, well, let me say real fast. In season one, it existed because they needed a reason for people to watch the show. It was a pure prequel, but as soon as you see a clip, because at this time El Camino didn't exist, so this is your glimpse, like into the future. It's an instant hook. Like, oh my God, this show.
You automatically see post Breaking Bad, yeah.
And you see, yeah, I think you see Walter White on like the television at his house, and you're like, okay, like holy shit, you know. Now it is definitely like the conclusion to Jimmy's story. No, I don't think he'll die. If he dies, if Lalo again shows up and kills him in the flash forward, I'll be pissed off. I think it exists to close him and Kim's story out. I think he's picking Kim up from prison, and they're riding off into the sunset together.
You think the black and white's gonna be him picking up Kim? Mike?
Yeah, look, he has all those diamonds. Why the fuck is he working at a Cinnabon when now we know he has like all these diamonds? Like, what the fuck, dude? Just cash out and just move somewhere.
It's just too like happy. It's like I feel like that's the Disney version of like.
But it's not happy, you know. Kim's been in prison for all these years, and he has to live in hiding, you know.
But she's been in white collar prison. It's not really prison.
I guess you're right. I don't know. That's my.
It's a shitty country club.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to
He
leave.
saves the diamonds, and he gets her a new identity, and they both meet under new identities, and live the rest of their lives working at a fucking Cinnabon. That's the ending.
Dude, you gotta get
Fucking
some
directed
Cinnabon,
by
man.
Vince Gilligan, right? Fucking here, put it up. And it's him, and this is it. This is it. He's going to clock out, and he says, "Did you put those cinnamon buns in the trash?" And the camera pans. It shows a fly on a bun, and we focus, and then it's Kim. Yeah, I got it. Let's go home, dear. Directed by.
Yeah. Breaking Cinnabon by Vince Gilligan.
Yeah, fucking Better Call Cinnabon. I don't know. Who knows where the show's gonna go? But you know, I did read an interview though. They said Lalo, you know, they didn't expect him to like stick around, but because the guy that they casted just is so charismatic and so good, like Vince said, like they had. I read a whole thing about this actually. So they were never gonna have Lalo in this show. And then I think one of their head producers was bugging him and was like, hey, look, you have to answer who this Lalo guy is because you have Nacho, but you don't have Lalo. And he was like, it's not that big of a deal. And he's like, come on, Vince, if you finish the show, you're going to be annoyed. Like, you'll piss yourself off by never answering who this guy is. So he's like, okay, fine, we'll cast him, we'll bring him into the show. And because the actor was so good, he's like, yeah, okay, now we have to make him like a huge part of this story. So, but yeah, when they casted the guy too,
But that's a cool.
Yeah, when they casted him too, I mean that's what they were looking for though. They wanted a smart, intelligent, but charming Salamanca because all the other Salamancas are very,
No, it's the charming
cartel
aspect
and
that
yeah.
everyone loves.
Yeah, because he's a Salamanca, and you're like, no, this hitman and brutal and terrible. But Lalo, yeah, he's charismatic as hell.
We'll see. We'll see what
We'll see.
happens.
The charisma's gone now. Now he's the fucking Terminator. So,
He's gonna become the Terminator.
dude, he's jumping through a lot more ceilings. I'm telling you that, man. Ceilings do not stop this man. Long jumps, if it's 12 feet or less, Lalo got it under control, man. Don't think that you're gonna parkour away from this man. The dude is the
Shit.
fucking Terminator, man. Good show. Good show, man.
No,
It's
I'm
never
looking forward. I'm looking forward to the last series.
13 episodes. We'll probably get a delay due to coronavirus. I mean, I say that. Who knows? But I can't imagine it not being delayed.
Well, how do you guys feel about all these states trying to reopen forcibly?
Uh,
Because that's what it seems like. They're forcibly
I
doing it.
think we're fucked with the
there was
capital F.
a article I just saw literally while we were prepping for this. That said, I guess the White House got questioned today about what they think, what they would do if there was a resurgence in the fall. And they were like, that you're like, it's a hypothetical question, like it hasn't happened. So, and I'm like, boy, what a fucking answer. Like, oh, we'll cross
It
that bridge
hasn't
when it comes
happened
to it.
yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so I'm just like, boy, let's inject ourselves with bleach and get it over with.
Which Jason is not a doctor. Let's make that very clear. Do not
You're
take
right.
medical advice.
Neither is Trump, so don't take his medical advice either.
He's a doctor of something. I'm sure he's got a doctorate somewhere. The doctor from the
He's
Trump
got
college.
some fake ass degree from one of his
I'm
colleges.
sure. Actually, he's not a doctor. If he was a doctor, we would know.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
He
would
would
yeah.
let
brag.
us know.
He would brag about it. He'd be like,
Excuse me, it's Doctor President Trump.
"Excuse me,
Fucking but yeah, I don't know. I mean, so you were mentioning Joe Rogan earlier, and I was actually talking to Jade about how the way some of these celebrities on his show talk about the coronavirus, because they've all been talking about it.
Mhm.
They're very much like, oh well, I definitely see this going on till like July or August. And to me, while that would be the best, I do think it's a little out of touch. Like, you literally have protests all, at least in Texas, about opening back up. People talking about May 1st, middle of May, beginning of June. But to me, like, what a detached thing to say when there's all this news about like how many people are on unemployment and shit, and you're sitting here with all your money and you're like, yeah, we'll just wait till like August, and everyone's like, yeah, August is a good time. I'm like, yeah, but look, dude, like, realistically, unless you're giving out checks like Canada, poor people they're not gonna make it. Like, or if you can keep paying the unemployment, that'll be fine.
that's
But
what I don't personally understand, because I'm on I'm on far leftist groups, far right groups, libertarian groups, all across the internet, Facebook. What I don't understand, and lots of libertarians like to make fun of people going, "Oh, you're a libertarian until you get that $1,200 check." My mindset is, just give people back their fucking tax money. You're not. That's not socialism. If you give people back the money they've already spent,
well,
give them back their
especially
money so they can live off of it.
in an emergency, absolutely.
Because this is an emergency situation, and we stay home for a month, 2 more months. And the
Well, but I mean, you see how many unemployment claims they're giving out. You know, they just signed what, like another $48 billion bill. I think that one's geared more towards the loans that are going out to small business because they're kind of getting the shaft. Like we're all getting our unemployments and our stimuluses, but small business, I've heard, is
yeah,
having a
and
really tough
large
time.
businesses are getting huge
Yeah,
fucking checks as
that's what I'd
well.
say. Large businesses, they're getting their money. Don't worry about
They're
them.
getting fucking paid, but
But small
small
businesses are having a
businesses are the
tough
ones
time.
that are actual. They employ the majority of people,
Yeah, the
and they're the
majority of
most.
people out of work, probably.
Yeah, and they're the most in danger of going bankrupt.
Yeah. So.
And they're getting a little money here, a little money there, if any money at all.
My biggest issue is it really seems like we pick and choose when we listen to the medical experts, and that's really frustrating.
Yep.
Um, I mean, we literally have like the people that were being protesting were confronted by medical um, uh, im- like nurse practitioners and stuff like that were confronting them, and they like I literally went online and there was this big debate that I was reading about people saying that we need to get back to work and it's not that big of a deal, and medical professionals that like the one guy said, I work at a hospital, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's really scary because it's just like why is it that now when we might be getting towards the end of this are we deciding to disregard? It would be like if you got put on medication, if you
Oh
got put
yeah,
if
you're
you
taking your antibiotics. Take
yeah,
them for 2 weeks, and a weekend you're like,
I'm fine,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
good.
You know what? Yeah, I feel fine. I really think this did the trick. And the doctor's like, no, you have to
To
do it for
keep
two
taking
weeks.
yeah.
Else, yeah, you're gonna like relapse
Hmm.
in a month. No, it's fine. I feel better.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, for me, a big thing for me is going to the gym. That's something that I was part of my regular schedule is going
Yeah,
to the
that's
gym.
that's really the only thing that's really been disrupted, I would say, in my schedule. Like not going to the gym fucking sucks. I mean, you know.
I mean, I've seen some of the measures that some of these places are trying to reopen under, and they're like, okay, so you need to literally wipe down everything that you touch and use. Okay, people already have an issue with doing that when there isn't a plague going
Yeah,
around.
right.
Nobody wipes
Yeah.
anything down. The other thing is, you know, who's gonna run up like 3 miles with an N95 mask on, or
Yep.
it's
Yeah, and
not
then no
practical.
offense. Yeah, you're going to Planet Fitness. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna shit on people. I'm sorry. Yeah, there are lazy fucking people that go to gyms. I mean, I don't care if you're going to Planet Fitness or fucking Powerhouse or, I don't know,
Golds.
Gold's Gym. Like, there are just lazy people that don't fucking care. There are people, like Mike says, every day they don't re-rack their weights. They don't fucking put anything back. Don't wipe a fucking thing down. You think that behavior is gonna change? Like, no, because that
Yeah.
guy was an asshole to begin with. Like, you know,
Mhm.
Now, that same person is going to go to the gym, be exposed to I don't know how many bodily fluids and sweat, and
honestly, the
then
gym
and
is
then
probably one of the worst places to go.
yeah, and then go back to his own family, and maybe it's a wife and a kid, maybe it's a wife and 3 kids. Maybe those 3 kids are still in daycare or go to school. So they're interacting with their father who interacted with that gym, and then you spread it. Like, people do not seem to comprehend how viruses spread. And that's what's so frustrating to me, especially
Yeah,
because it only takes one member of one household to
fire it all
jump.
back up.
It jumps along and it spreads throughout the community. And then,
And it's an asymptomatic virus. I mean, it's asymptomatic for 2 fucking weeks. Like, you know, by the time anyone shows symptoms, it's far too late.
If you show
Yeah.
any symptoms at all.
Yeah, if you're showing symptoms at all. But to what you were saying, Mike, I think you don't see it and you don't interact with it. Like, yes, people have changed their daily routines a little bit. You don't go to the gym. Maybe you go to the HEB with a mask, but you do this for a month. And I think a lot of people just have okay, like, look, what's the big deal? The hospitals aren't overrun. Yeah, they're not overrun because you're doing what you're supposed to do. But a month isn't long enough. It's not enough time.
Mhm. Yeah,
Things are fine now.
we've already made it this far. Why not go the full distance? I don't understand. That's my biggest issue is, we've already made big strides. This is going to be historic, no matter
Mhm.
what.
Oh,
And
100%. It already is.
and it's just like, why even tempt fate with the idea of like, well,
Because
let's leave
the
it up to the
stock,
states.
you need green arrows on the stock market. You got to blood for the stock market.
No,
man.
it's because the
Because my
government's coming
gas
up.
cost
No,
$1.40 today.
no. It's because the
Wow.
government's coming up short.
Well,
If we were Canada, getting guaranteed like $2,000 checks or whatever, so the people who relied upon a daily income, if they had that, there would not be this uproar. And there would be a much greater pushback by the masses to whenever the people who own stocks were complaining about their prices going down. Do you disagree? Jason, you're shaking your head.
No, I'm listening to music. Don't bother with me.
Oh, I thought you were shaking.
I
There's a
heard. Well,
good
I mean,
band
I'm
going
shaking
on.
my head only because, I heard that from some figures, basically, that our unemployment system is not designed to handle this amount of unemployment, which I think is definitely an issue. But isn't that more of like an
Not
employment
designed to
issue?
handle?
I mean, 4.4 million people, I think it was a couple days ago, signed up for unemployment.
It's
Like
way
these are
more than that.
record
I feel
numbers.
like.
Yeah, these are record numbers. Now, isn't that more of an
We're giving
employment issue?
trillions. We're giving literal trillions to corporations
Mhm.
that
Unemployment rate
could
is 20%.
could
Yeah.
easily file for chapter 13 bankruptcy that could go to literal citizens.
Well, let's bring it back a second. With everything trying to reopen, how are you guys going to like? Are you guys gonna go to some of these places that are opening up? Like, how is us reopening the economy going to affect you guys?
I'm not going to restaurants. Emily could
Adam actually
ask
has
for
a
a date.
point.
Emily could ask me to go on a date night, and I'll say no.
I'm
I'm
doing
not
I'm doing
going.
some math here, and so I think there's 26 million on unemployment right now. If they're giving $500 a week, and I'm gonna say it is only 13 billion. So for a month, you're talking about $52 billion a month.
A
I mean,
month, 52
yeah,
billion a month. How long does that take to
yeah. I mean, I guess
equal what we've given to big companies that has done
yeah.
nothing to
One
the stock
trillion dollars,
market?
$1 trillion would let that last literally 10 months. You could have 26 million people getting $500 a month, or $500 a
Just
week,
round it up to a year.
2,000 a month. You could do 10 months for $1 billion for 26 million people. I mean,
But that's a
yeah, it's
low end
definitely.
figure because you're
I
calculating
know it is.
500.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, people are getting $600 bonuses as is. So
Mhm.
I was just, I was just trying to spitball there. Like, what would if it really needed to be like essentials? What could you do? But I mean, Adam is correct. You can make it happen. You just don't want to. I
We have
mean,
the money. We're supposedly the richest nation in the world, and fucking Canada is given $2,000 a month to every citizen.
Well, for 4 months, but are they giving out unemployment? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what their laws are, but I mean they're doing a good job. I'm not knocking Canada. Like they clearly got their shit figured out. But to go back to your question, I'm sorry I went on that little tangent. Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it at work. I think handshakes will come back, but I think initially handshakes will be gone for like a month or two. I think if there's one thing that will stick with us, even let's say like a year from now or something, I think if you are out at a movie theater, at a bar, at a restaurant, be it, when someone coughs loudly from now on, as that's not something I think I used to notice, it will be something I'm going to notice immediately.
Sounds like a megaphone.
I don't feel like yeah, it sounds like a gunshot.
It sounds like they're like through a megaphone, and you're like, where was?
And it's not just gonna be me. I feel like if someone coughs at the bar, literally customers and employees are all going to be like.
As a hypochondriac, I'd rather hear a bullet go off than hear someone cough.
I don't know about that. But
What I want to ask is,
I can fight. I can run away from the cough, man. Bullets are fucking fast.
the other thing I've noticed, and maybe I'm just being paranoid, but there are seemingly a larger number of ambulances that I'm hearing go past my house.
I mean, that could just be hearsay. I mean, I don't know. You live in a big city.
No, I mean it's not hearsay. I'm saying, is it my own
paranoia?
Yeah, paranoia. Hearing it, going.
I don't know, Adam. Would you call yourself a paranoid person? That's the question you have to ask.
I don't know. I mean, there's some things going around, like, as far as like conspiracy theories go. Like, what if there's something actually happening and the government
5G tower.
Yeah, and the government does not want us to see what's going on.
What do we got? We got 5G. We got Bill Gates, Antichrist.
I don't understand. I really do not understand 5G and Bill Gates. What? How exactly does?
I mean, you're aware. Your Facebook groups are talking about these. I figure you're on Facebook. Facebook has to talk about this shit because
but I'm not.
They don't talk about it where the fuck I'm from, and I don't get on Facebook. So.
I'm trying to not be offensive. I'm not in any groups that have the lack. I'm not in any groups that have the lack of intelligence that blame the coronavirus on Bill Gates or 5G internet.
Okay.
Listen, I understand how important 5G is, okay? We need TikTok videos, especially more than ever.
At a faster rate, yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to take 5G if it means Corona. Let's be honest. That's a joke, but that's a joke, by the way.
Well, I don't know. People are just stupid. Look, I mean, like at my job, we're closed for a month. What do? We use this time to renovate. We expand it. Why? Because no one's in your fucking building. Why not?
Yeah, I saw someone say that they can't wait to go to y'all's not your bar, your the outdoor area.
Yeah,
your patio looks so much better that people can't wait to go to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna be coughing all over. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, but it will be outdoor, so the wind can carry it away.
Straight to me. Someone can lean over. Can I have a vodka tonic? And I'll just say, yeah, buddy, coming right up.
Actually, scratch that. A Lysol tonic, please.
Yeah, right. No.
So a month from now, we go.
But anyway.
Welcome to Nerdy Drunken Stone. I'm joined by Mike. Jason is
you won't say.
in the hospital.
I'm joined by Mike. It's me, Mike, and our new member.
I'm joking.
William.
I hope that doesn't happen to either of us.
It was.
Are you gonna start wearing a mask at work? What are you gonna do?
I mean, if we reopen.
See, that's what I'm curious about. How do you
I thought a mask was so you don't get it on others.
that you don't transmit.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
point
not
of it.
it's not so much if someone coughs on me, it doesn't really fucking matter that I'm wearing a mask.
I don't
That
know,
you don't.
man. I feel like it's just another barrier, at least, to
Sure,
protect you.
it could help, but I imagine like if someone coughs close enough for it to get on you, I mean you have so many ways, like those
It's
little parts that get in
eyes,
your
and it
eyes
gets on your hands, and you touch your face.
and your nose if it's here and I
Yeah,
breathe
exactly.
I mean, it's
in.
not instant. Like, if someone coughed on you, you should immediately go wash your face.
Sure,
Like,
but I mean, anyway, the whole point of talking about renovations is people putting up 5G towers. So yeah, why wouldn't all these people that have been waiting to put up these 5G towers go, hey, look, like we can do construction in all these fucking places. Why? Because there's nothing fucking going on. So let's get, like if you were a company with money, yeah, knock it out right now. Why the fuck not? And let's be real. Like, yeah, cell phone companies have fucking money. Like they're not going out of business anytime soon. People are still paying those fucking bills.
are you guys okay being tracked? Like, they've been talking a lot about contact
Yeah.
tracing, and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
what
I
if before
mean,
you enter a building, it says, there's a person in there that might have, or when you leave, you get a message that says it was confirmed that someone in that building had
look,
COVID.
when you word it like that, I think a lot of people are going to say no initially. But I do think on that same page, a lot of people don't really understand the amount of freedom they're already giving up by having a cell phone with GPS already.
Mhm.
Like that technology is already there doing exactly that. They will just use it for this purpose. But of course, people, when you word it like that, are going to say, no, I don't want to be tracked. But you're already being tracked. I mean, you have Snapchat, right? You have your GPS turned on. Even if you don't have your GPS turned on, like they can track your phone. Like they use
They
it.
ping it.
Half of your fucking apps use it. You know what I mean? Like it's so yeah, I'm fine with it because it's already there. I just think people like to kind of pull the wool over their own eyes and go, well, I mean, I don't use any apps that track my location. Like, yeah, you do. Your app is called a cell phone. Like,
I personally, I gave up that fight whenever the whole. I'm not going to go deep political, but whenever the whole Snowden and shit came out, and no one seemed to care, that was when I sort of just said, we've already lost. So if I have to sacrifice this in order to keep myself safe, then
people are willing to give up increments of freedom, personal freedoms for convenience and being
Protection.
comfortable. This
they
is
give
yeah,
up its liberty for security.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's security. I mean, I don't feel safer that I have a cell phone. It definitely makes my life easier, more convenient, and more comfortable. And I am willing to say, well, I guess people could track me on it. Like,
Well,
yeah,
that was just the quote by Benjamin Franklin. Those that would give up liberty for security deserve neither.
well, it's easy to say that when you
When
live
you're
in a
not living in
fucking
a
log
plague.
hut. Yeah. You live in a log hut with a fucking, again, a fucking gunpowder rifle that takes a minute to load.
A
Yeah.
blunderbuss.
Yeah. Yeah. And like,
Blunderbuster.
yeah.
He's called a blunderbuster.
Yeah. You got your blunderbuster, and the closest thing that you know for a fucking cell phone is like a book. Like, it's just this shit that exists
Book.
today. Shit that exists today you couldn't even imagine.
Right.
Sci-fi couldn't imagine a cell phone 50 fucking years ago. You know what I mean?
How could they? Star Trek has little pieces of glass that.
Hey man, I
But it
watched
doesn't
Blade
do what a
Runner.
fucking cell phone do. Yeah, he watched Blade
I'd
Runner.
watch Blade Runner. It's not even close. Not even
Yeah,
close.
because they use big ideas. They use flying cars and interstellar travel.
And
They don't say
pyramids.
like they're fucking instead of having a whole fucking deck of shit on Star Trek, they should just have a little fucking screen, and it just does it all on that, because that's what it fucking is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have a little gadget for everything. That's bullshit. You know, like
If security truly was the answer, though, wouldn't China have not had the outbreak? They have the most power.
That's fucking China.
They
you know what?
literally,
Mike,
you can't go
they
down the
cured it.
street without being recorded on some sort of China
But-
net TV.
But
Yeah,
didn't
but it's
they?
China. They're going to
and
deny everything.
They allegedly cured it, so it's fine.
Yeah, I heard North Korea is great.
Yeah.
They're-
North Korea is great.
They're
Kim
immune.
Jong Un doing just
Kimchi.
fine.
Eat your kimchi.
He's definitely alive.
Dude, I read basically, you know why he got so fat? The argument was they wanted to fatten him up so he looked more like his grandfather, the first Kim.
No, I was wondering if it was something about like health. Like you need to appear like you're well fed. So
Yeah.
our population doesn't seem like
Either
it's
way,
starving.
he's definitely dead. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's too soon. Even as a Korean, I feel like it's too soon to say it just because
he's
I know how
definitely
tricky.
dead.
Yeah, I don't know that he's dead, but he's in trouble.
Yes.
He's in choppy seas for sure.
Choppy seas. I mean, yeah, like from what I understand, the reason he ballooned so much is because he was
ballooned.
Oh, dude, when he first came into office, and then you fast forward a couple of years, dude, he got huge. Like he started waddling like the penguin when he started walking around. But apparently he was so paranoid and freaked out about being assassinated by one of his own that he would stay up super late and just stuff his face and drink alcohol and live it
because
up.
if they're gonna get you, it'd be in the middle of the night. I guess. Yeah.
I mean, well, think about it. You're like how old was Kim Jong Un? I mean, he wasn't as much older than us, I don't think.
No, he's in his 30s. He's close to our age, I think.
Holy
Yeah.
shit! Really? Damn.
Yeah, and he, you know what I mean? Like, he was so afraid of internal people just taking him out. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen if he does die. If it's true that he does die, you're going to see a huge wake like the North Koreans did with the other Kims that passed. They'll probably make some sort of vacation day out of Kim Jong Un, like they did. But his sister will probably take over, but I see her taking like a Cersei type role.
The first female dictator.
Yeah. Well, I read a thing that said,
what is that?
North Korea is ahead of the curve of America
I was-
because they
I was
appointed their
agreeing
first
with you.
female leader.
The first female dictator. North Korea. They're so progressive at this point.
Yeah.
They're more progressive than America, apparently. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think if he goes, we might be regretting it in the sense of.
Oh, 100%. 100%, man.
But we'll see. I mean,
But
none of this stuff has been
hell
confirmed.
hath no scorn like a woman's spirit. That's
From what
I
I heard,
was gonna bite my tongue, and then Jason went there.
From what
I'm just saying, you've heard that.
no, dude,
phrase.
she's young. She's got shit to prove.
That's
That's
what I'm
the
saying.
problem.
Yeah, wait for Trump to get. Wait for the U.S. president to get on there and be like, who cares? She's about to start shooting some fucking missiles real quick.
Wait for Trump to make some derogatory statements about a woman while
Not a woman, probably
she,
specifically her.
yeah,
Right.
specifically her while she's on her period, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, Brad Pitt played Dr. Feige. That's cool.
So, whoop,
We'll see what happens, but
it's all gonna work out great, I'm sure.
Nothing's been confirmed, but what I heard was that the surgeon that was trying to put the stent into his into his heart.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was shaking so bad because he was nervous. But again, that could be a rumor, But I could see someone being that. Even if you're a medical professional, you fuck this up, Your family is gonna be killed. Generations of your family are gonna be killed. You know, it's
They will kill
Or more
everyone.
than likely someone said, "Hey, you should fuck up this surgery," and your hand was shaking, and you said you were nervous, but really you're
Hey,
working for his sister.
I
see.
sent y'all that Office joke, and it is a funny bit of number one hot surgeon.
I don't know.
My biggest thing is if he gets taken out, there's no reason to think that she's not going to get taken out either.
I just find it
Unless she did it.
surprising that they would necessarily put her in charge. I think that would
she's
be
royalty technically.
Yeah,
She has
it's
the blood in
yeah,
her.
it's not
no,
about male or
it's her
female.
blood. I understand that, but I don't see them because the whole idea is they're godlike, so the lineage passes down.
It's a very
So
male centric society.
so you're telling me the grandfather worked his way down and that is now within the granddaughter or something. It's
I mean, yeah, she has the blood of the Kims in her. But the problem is I can honestly see other people having issues with a female running North Korea, especially one so young and inexperienced, that they just take her out as
oh
well.
the I could see the heads of the military.
Staging a coup, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which
I
could be
mean,
beneficial. It could be beneficial for the whole country if
look, dude, it's North
the military
Korea.
staged a coup and changed it, because
Yeah,
then you
right,
could actually
absolutely.
have someone to negotiate with who wasn't irrational.
I mean, I think we'll probably know by next week. Next episode, we'll know probably
Yeah, we'll
what.
know if he's alive or dead. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's
And
probably
they might-
dead. He's probably dead.
Adam's he's like he's definitely dead.
I've seen. I'm just like googling and just scrolling through different news
I think
organizations,
he's
and
a
I'm going,
vegetable. I don't think he's dead, but I think he's a vegetable.
yeah, which is dead.
No, you
Not.
keep him.
He's not in charge.
You keep him alive till there's a transfer of power, and then
What if
Well,
America were
he's
to
definitely
offer?
not in charge.
What if America were to offer their medical services as a gesture of goodwill?
What do you?
I don't think they would ever allow that.
Trump is president, so that's not going to happen.
Hey, he's the most buddy with any North Korean leader that America presidents have ever
Yeah,
seen.
that's actually a good point.
No,
Actually,
he's the most publicly buddy.
I mean, publicly, the other presidents have said we don't even want to give them credit as a legitimate regime.
yeah, they
So
don't
we
even
won't
talk
even
to
want to
them.
meet them. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
Trump was the first
Yeah,
one to
that's
say,
true.
you are the leader of North Korea, which is why so many Koreans were pissed off that he went against that. But
So you tell me next week we're gonna see a picture with Trump and his sister
I mean, who
shaking
knows?
hands, going, Kim Jong Un is fine, but I'm posing with his sister because he's doing fine.
What if it's all bullshit? What if he has a coronavirus and he's not doing well from that? I mean, we don't know.
We'll never know because it's state-run
Yeah.
media. You'll never know
Mm-hmm.
the real truth.
No
I
one's
mean,
ever gonna
maybe
fucking know.
I say you never. Maybe 10, 20 years from now, we might know. We'll watch it on Netflix. It'll be called North Korea instead of Waco.
Because what is that fucking horrifying
It'll
fact
be
that
called
came out?
Best Korea.
Freaking young people are dying from strokes at an
Oh,
irrational number.
that's underlying health issues. That's what that is.
I haven't
Corona-toe.
Young
heard any
people
of
with
this.
strokes is not an underlying health issue. Old people with strokes.
I don't know. I guess it's a symptom of coronavirus, just like corona-toe.
Are you talking about
and
the blood
fucking
clotting thing?
yeah. I thought I read something about a blood clot, like a blood clot. That is something I did read about. I haven't heard about strokes
I mean, a
anywhere.
stroke is a blood clot, but it's a blood clot that goes to your brain.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess patients. I don't know. I didn't read the article. What is it, Mike?
Uh, Basically, a nurse in New York talked about how her experience with trying to just put an IV into a COVID patient, and literally she had to put it in like 3 or 4 times because as she was putting it in, it was the blood was coagulating.
Huh.
And apparently, there's other people that have had clotting issues, which is weird. Like this is so weird that this disease affects so many people differently.
Yeah, in such unique ways. Like the
Yeah,
symptoms are all very. They don't exist. They exist, but you maybe lose your taste. You maybe lose your sense of smell. You develop bruises on your toes. You
It's fucking
experience
scary.
unnormal, like unusual clotting. Yeah, like you know, I get that it's a new, a new strand of corona virus, but
Yeah,
at the same
Corona's not new.
yeah, but at the same time, yeah. So it is. It's a derivative of like the flu. It's in that family. But when you get the flu, like you get flu symptoms. Like, you don't get like a fucking you might have bruising around in 20% of cases. Why? I don't fucking know.
it was a guy had to have
Oh,
his
hey,
leg
Andrew's
amputated.
feeling better.
Oh, because of the. But see, when I hear shit like that, I do think like, were there underlying issues before he caught corona? He went to the hospital because of that, and yes, it's complicating already, like issues he already had. Maybe he was already suffering from blood clots, and that like this just, hampered his body's ability to fight back. I could see something like that.
It seems like heavy smokers and people who have compromised immune systems are taking the biggest brunt.
Really? I swear to God, I just read a fucking article yesterday saying that smokers are apparently fighting it better. So,
Really?
What?
yeah,
I've not heard that, but
I
here,
wish I could find it.
Washington Post article.
Oh,
Um,
that's a rag of a newspaper. I can't read that shit.
I mean,
I wouldn't call it a rag, but several recent stroke patients in their 30s and 40s who were all infected with the coronavirus suffered severe strokes that are most common among people aged 74.
I mean, is that related? It definitely seems like it might be, but there's so much misinformation, and that was a
Yeah, that's the
big
problem.
problem with the
Yeah.
beginning
Yeah,
of this too.
CNN. COVID-19 causes sudden strokes in young adults, doctors say.
I the only thing I've
CNN, another
You calling
inaugural
CNN
news
a rag?
source. God, give me a Fox News article. Jesus.
uh,
Actually, I had one. I didn't read it because it was Fox.
Yeah, because it was the facts.
No,
Don't
because
worry, I'll get one.
I mean, we might as well have their viewpoint. We got everyone else's.
All right, let's see. What's the top thing on Fox News? Exclusive. Biden accuser blasts CNN's Cooper. Well,
Uh,
they're talking about Biden. There you go.
no,
uh,
I'm saying it. Google. Fox News: Coronavirus may cause strokes in younger patients.
hmm.
That was 3 days ago.
The one thing I've learned from
So
this,
they were the quickest to report it, Jason. They were on the front lines.
I really think that we knew about, like, there's no way that if we have the smartest, brightest minds, on the forefront of all these issues, that they did not know how to. Yes, the World Health Organization got some of this stuff wrong, but there's no way that our specialists weren't able to be like, they might be wrong about that. Like, I really doubt that didn't happen, and especially with how they are with the masks. I feel like we got caught with our pants down because we were never really. It was like a joke. preparing, like, oh yeah, the bubonic plague, or something like that, and they were like, you guys don't need to buy masks, and they're just secretly hoarding them because they knew the medical people were going to need them.
We're going
To be fair, what they were trying to do was prevent the general public from buying up
So they
necessary
lied.
necessary masks, and then whenever it became clear that this was going to spread, then they told everyone you need to go buy.
Once 5 people had it,
You need to go buy the basic mask so that in case you get infected, you don't spread it.
But they didn't know that ahead of time. I mean, come on, it's the U.S. government.
They did, but they're not trying. The general public is stupid. The general public is stupid.
Go back to January and look how many CEOs cashed out stocks and are stepped down from their companies in January. And you want to say someone wasn't in their fucking ear like, hey, look,
this is some shit.
You got about a month or two, so hey, roll your dice however you want to play this shit.
Market's about to crash.
Follow the money. That's all you do. Follow the money and look at how many people get out of the game in January. I mean, I'm not gonna pull it up, but it's a significant amount of people. Like,
is that just foresight, or is that? I mean, trust me, I agree with you, Jason. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate.
Well, but you say foresight. So again, if we really thought it was a joke, like apparently how a lot of people did, even when we were getting cases in America, you as a $1 billion CEO, you're gonna like step down or take a majority share of your stock out because you have foresight. Like, that seems like a really irrational move unless you have someone really smart in your ear. Like, no, look, I know like you might want to think this is bullshit, like it's really not. Like, our economy is about to fucking tank.
Yeah, I mean, but there were people that were preparing ahead of time, like average people.
Don't even mention the fact that there were senators that cashed out a bunch of freaking stocks.
I mean, it's insider trading. That's nothing new. We have movies with Martin Sheen.
Federal crime. It's a federal crime committed by numerous senators that no one gives a fuck about.
You're right. I mean, you're right. And you know why? Because this is a bigger story. That's why. It's the same thing that happens. Those people will be lost in the annals of history because, hey, who cares about a senator that saved $10 million?
Yeah, you want to talk about conspiracy theories? It's just like the fucking was it billions or trillions that disappeared the day before 9/11?
Yeah, was it? What was that thing? It was like the
Pentagon lost.
The moon was made of cheese, but then the cheese, the moon. We went there, right? No, I don't.
No, I was talking about September 10th, 2001, whenever it was announced that they lost either they lost a shit ton of money, maybe billions, maybe it was trillions, I don't know. And
do you have credible sources for that, sir?
Do you? All right, well then if we're getting to that.
Yes, I do, because
foxnews.com.
Holy shit.
In your opinions, I'm really curious. Do you think there was something more going on than what we the public were given?
Are we talking about
9/11? 9/11. Oh my god. I'm not saying that the government was involved. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do you think there was more going on behind the scenes than we were made aware of?
Sure, absolutely. I always think there's something going on behind the scenes. I always think someone knows a little bit more. You know what I mean? Someone knew something. To what extent and who knew what? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
did anyone that know what was going to happen, were they in any capacity to stop it or change it? I doubt it. But
yeah, I've kind of always maintained the idea that it wasn't an inside job. I know a lot of people.
That was a little bit where I really did think it was
for a while.
Yeah, but I was young.
Especially the way the building falls. The building falls in a very odd way.
Yeah,
Like
like I said,
almost
I
looks like a
was young,
demolition.
and yeah, it's definitely there's a lot of oddities about it, but
Most likely, I think they fucked up and they tried to cover up them fucking up.
sure,
Like I'm sure that were made aware of it and didn't take it seriously or whatever. And I don't think there was some super plot because let's be real, people talk.
absolutely,
Regardless, I mean, there would have been so many people that would have had to have been in on this. That
Yeah.
absolutely,
someone would have said something like, you know,
and yeah, and fast forward to 20 years later,
mhm.
The older you get, the more
yeah,
you go,
maybe I fucked up,
how
yeah.
many people really could keep their mouth shut that fucking long?
Exactly. But it's the same thing with the moon landing. It's the same exact shit. People want to say like, here's all this evidence that the moon landing is fake. And again, the one like corkscrew in your whole fucking conspiracy theory is that okay, so you're telling me all of NASA fucking 50 years later just no one came out and said, yeah, actually we hired the dude that did The Shining to film this shit.
This is
Like,
why I think we went to the moon because we have fucking satellites in the fucking sky.
yeah, yeah.
The
Like,
one, the one thing that I think is a plausible theory and something that I wouldn't completely go, that's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, is that all the federal branches of the government are not completely in line just because of the way that our system is set up. So I could see the heads of the CIA finding out about 9/11
But
and
again, what does
and
that
then
entail?
not.
You know, and what does that mean? Like finding out? Did they find out that
No, like
like these people
through.
are hijacking a plane and these are their targets, or did you get information that said this organization's planning a terrorist plot this month? They may be using aviation as as their instrument. And even then, until you saw it happen on 9/11, what a far-fetched idea to not only use an aircraft. You might think like maybe they're gonna hijack a military plane and shoot missiles. Like, oh, you're telling me they're gonna hijack a craft and commit suicide with everyone on board? Like, what an unspeakable act. It would be hard to like unless it was written in writing like this is what the fuck they're gonna do. I think that would be hard to imagine at the time. you
I
know
Do you think you think it would be hard to imagine for someone that works in who for someone that deals with terrorism on a day-to-day basis to imagine what they could do and what kind of
do you think they would have
attacks
thought,
they would
yeah,
commit.
no, maybe they would have thought that okay, this is what they're planning, but realistically they might have been like there's no way they can pull this off. Like this isn't really a credible threat. We need to be watching this, but you're telling me they're gonna hijack 4 airplanes on the same day, like 3 dudes with box cutters. Like there's no
Oh
fucking way this
no,
shit.
I'm not. I don't believe that they would ever have had that many details.
Oh yeah, it was just a very nebulous like.
you know, as
There are terroristic plans to hijack aircrafts
Yeah, in the
and
month of
crash
September.
them into buildings.
as
Yeah, landmarks.
as much
Yeah,
as yeah, as much as I defend it, saying like most likely in all scenarios we just kind of fucked up and like one of the worst terrorist attacks happened.
yeah,
There's a lot of coincidental things that are tough to look
yeah.
over. Like out of all the places that plane could have hit, and as far as the Pentagon goes, it hit right dead on the spot where all of the money records were being kept. What are the chances of
Oh,
So
that?
you mean that great fucking video that they produced
yeah,
about 10 years later,
I was about to
which had
say
3 frames
we
and
still
none
we
of which
still haven't
had
got.
anything that looked like a fucking plane in it? You mean that
And
plane?
the other thing is like we didn't do stuff that helped our case either. Like why would you put Halliburton like when we did invade Iraq, eventually.
Oh well, because
You know-
that was Bush's man.
I mean,
That's
but
why. I
he should
mean,
have thought how bad that would have looked.
okay,
Technically, it was Cheney's man because
Yeah,
Cheney
man,
was the one
I haven't
making
seen
all
that
the
movie
money.
yet.
True,
I
yeah,
haven't seen
but
that movie yet. But again, I mean, it just makes sense. What politician isn't gonna source their buddies? You know, I mean, we
Yeah,
like
it's
to
just
think that
business, I
they're
understand
any
that.
better than the others, but no,
No one's pure.
Yeah, Clinton's guys would have done the same thing, and Bush's seniors, and especially Trump, like even Obama's guys. I mean, of course, I wouldn't fault Obama for using the company that they're familiar with, especially like a company that Obama's guy worked for. Like if Joe Biden had connections to oil, of course Biden's gonna outsource. Hey guys,
To be
look,
fair, Joe Biden wouldn't remember the name of that company.
he
Well,
would have back then.
do you? All right,
Yeah,
well,
but he wouldn't remember it today.
so
is all
do
I'm
you
saying.
think the U.S. government is as insidious as people make it out to be? Like
No.
JFK. Do you
Yes.
think? What
Yes.
do you? How do you feel about JFK?
I think he was.
Was it one guy?
I think he was taken out by the CIA because he even said, "I want to." What is it? Break the CIA into 1,000 pieces and blow it into the wind, or something along those lines.
Really?
I can look the quote up, but JFK was completely one of the most progressive presidents that we've had,
He was my favorite president.
and he just happened to be mysteriously assassinated by a man who could not have he could have possibly achieved that shot, but it was a difficult shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Many experts have confirmed, and
So I don't
he
know.
just happened
I
to
don't
talk
know
shit on the
anything.
CIA.
Yeah, I don't know anything about. I haven't deep dived on JFK and his whole assassination shit. But so I guess you know a little bit. The guy, it was Lee Harvey Oswald killed. That wasn't the Lincoln guy who killed Lincoln. Wasn't that Lee Harvey Oswald that killed Lincoln?
No, Lee Harvey Oswald. He killed JFK.
Okay, but so all I'm
Lincoln
ask,
was.
Do we know? Do you know
the actor?
Do you know if Lee Harvey Oswald had did he train to take that shot? Like, did he go to gun ranges? Did he practice?
Not from the stuff that I've seen. That's a lot of people's biggest
I
argument.
guess I hate to say it,
have
that
no
would be
idea.
such a big question. Like, if he practiced at the range a little bit or something, okay, I give him more credit to make that tough shot. But yeah, I mean, picking up from someone that's been through the shooting range a couple times, man, even when you're doing a shot downrange with a good scope and you're adjusting like with a fucking spotter, you still it's still tough shots that you're making. Like, you know,
there were people that said that were down on the ground. Bystanders were saying that they heard a shot come down or a shot originate from the ground level as well. But those were
but that echoes, a gunshot echoes around. I mean, especially in an open space like that, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not to cut you off, but I will splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the wind.
He was probably drunk when he said that.
Which is frustrating because out of all of his speeches, they're so elegant. Like, I love every one of every JFK speech that I've read.
He was a man's. He was
very
a
well
man's
spoken
president. Like, he was an every man's president for sure.
But I think personally
can't have that.
He was by far the best Democratic president, I think.
I think more than likely it wasn't just because we've had trained marksmen that are in the U.S. military trying to
replicate that shot,
and they say how difficult it is.
You should go, Mike. You need to come visit sometime and see
that road.
That road.
Yeah, we've seen
because
me
and Jason have been there. We went for a convention, an anime convention.
I thought it was MLG. It was like MLG also.
Was it? Oh, yeah, we've
That's
been there.
That's a round trip right there.
Yeah, we've been there a few times, and there are X's on the street.
Mark, yeah.
Wow, that's
or
crazy.
you see the shots.
And then like you kind of look around, you're like, where did he shoot from? And,
And
you're
there,
like, man, that's
there's
so
a plaque. There's a plaque on the building
Yeah.
that he shot out of.
It's
Shot out of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All I'm saying, a modern. I don't. What do you shoot with? Just like a normal rifle, I guess.
It was a bolt-action rifle of some sort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was literally
Oof.
that's why they're saying it's so hard, because there were so many shots, and you're literally going chink.
Were there so many
chink.
shots? How many times did he get shot? I thought he just got shot once.
There were 3 shots.
Someone
I
threw the
think
car
he
seat.
was hit. He was hit twice. I think.
Well, he got him one good time. I know that much. I know it's fucked up to say, but you know,
I think
the
with
one is all you need. It's a good shot.
One definitely hit.
the fact that his wife was like, "Look what they did to you," I feel like that was very telling, because that was an emotional thing to say in that moment. You're not thinking about the repercussions. That was an emotional thing for her to say.
I think it was
I didn't know that.
it was a combination of the CIA and Lyndon B. Johnson, because who wants to kill the king? It's the one who is going to ascend to the throne.
See,
It's the most rational theory to me. And then he had enemies who were trained to kill, who were trained killers. It makes sense. You can call it a conspiracy theory, but
I mean, the thing I've heard was that the mafia they really had it out for JFK. Now, do you think it's impossible? Like, there's a reason why Harvey Oswald was then assassinated himself by a guy named Jack Ruby, which I believe he had ties to the mafia as well. But is it that outlandish to say that maybe
that I feel like proves it's dirty.
Yeah, like, is it that outlandish to say that maybe the CIA got in bed with the mafia to take out the president?
I don't know. I don't know. About JFK.
Jason's like,
yeah, you guys are down a rabbit hole that I've jumped down. So
I don't want to.
I believe
admit or deny.
I believe a lot of shit, but I don't know. The JFK thing has never really interested me that much. Maybe because it's the most plausible one. So
Yeah, it seems the most plausible.
It's almost like that's why I don't like it, because I'm just like, ugh.
I mean, if we're talking plausible, Epstein is plausible, the most plausible.
No, it's not plausible. That's not a conspiracy.
That's just the truth.
Yeah, that dude's chilling out in Israel on some beach somewhere, man. Like he's.
Oh,
fine.
that's a different theory.
I mean, I don't.
Oh, you really think he's dead? See, you're back on that old shit, man. New shit. He didn't. He's not dead. It's fake, and yeah, because what you can expedite. Like that's why they expedite a lot of criminals to like Israel, because you can't.
I do not spend that much time on 4chan, Jason. Apparently you do.
Do you?
I just know. Look. Whoa. Okay.
Shots fired. No pun intended.
All I know is in Israel, like they can't expedite you. Like even if you're like a known criminal, like they can't bring you back to the country. It's just what it is. That's where criminals flee to these days.
From Israel.
Yeah. Isn't that though? That's our ally, right? Israel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where they go.
I feel like he's too high profile. He's way too high profile. I think people would recognize him.
Who do you know? He's just on some beach, just fucking hanging out. Probably not. He's probably fucking dead. But I mean,
it would be easier to kill if I was okay. If I knew him and I was in charge, I feel like the conversation would happen, and people would discuss whether or not they could bring him somewhere else, and you would go.
But you don't.
This all sounds very complicated. We should just kill him.
We should just kill him, and we definitely don't think that he has a dead drop. That once he's fucking dead, someone's gonna release all of our bullshit.
Where was that? What happened?
Maybe they knew he was.
I don't think he's dead. That was
maybe they knew he wasn't smart enough to do that.
I mean, something is there, whether he's alive or dead.
I
Yeah.
wish there was a dead drop, but also you got
I-
Julian Assange.
I love Jason's theory
Could have
that
dead drops.
Epstein, he could be playing Final Fantasy VII on some island right now as we speak.
Could
I
be.
do
He's
find
beat
that
it, man.
interesting. I mean,
And
Fucking-
Hitler disappeared to Argentina, and there was a whole little mini Nazi country.
Oh, I have heard that. That's weird.
Yes, there's tons of
So
things that seem plausible, but there's no evidence to support it. And
okay, so Epstein's dead, but yeah, I mean, someone killed him. I mean, yeah, there's no like, I don't even think it. I wouldn't even call that a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's like the plausible answer.
it is a
Hung-
conspiracy. We just
No.
don't know what exactly happened.
No, I mean you're hung. No, guards are. It's like Metal Gear Solid.
Guards
The
guards fell
are asleep. Your camera's all malfunctioned.
It is.
yeah.
It's Metal Gear Solid.
I mean, come on,
Solid Snake
man.
went in there and took him out.
It's like a joke. You couldn't write a bigger joke if you wanted to. You know, like you
And-
read it. You read it, and you're like, "You're serious? Like this is? You want me to believe this?"
but do
Like,
you? All right. Well, that's. I mean, but do you believe that he had ties to a government entity?
100%. No.
Because that's what.
Like he was a CIA guy or something.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, because
Yeah, define government entity.
he was. I mean, there was a bunch. I think there was 2 separate occasions where
People have called him protected. Like he
Yes.
is
Multiple
actually-
presidents went on his plane to his
Yes.
island.
But what Mike's referring to is in conversation, people have mentioned that he is protected, and when asked like what does that mean, it's not just like he has dirt on people. Like he is allegedly like part of an organization.
CIA or
Yeah,
something like
CIA
that.
or something like that. I mean, I'm sure that's probably something that a guy like Epstein would say. Like, yeah, I'm CIA. But really,
That's possible as well. I could see him. I could see him bragging like that.
But
But-
the CIA would never
Yeah.
take out one of their own. Come on.
Unless there is some organization that we do not know that exists.
The Lale
Some
Lalo.
The
elitists.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily Men in Black, but once you become
I think
A
that shit
certain-
was real.
No. Once you become a certain tier-
Why are you laughing at me, man? You know that's how they go. They ain't no joke.
no, because Bilderberg is obviously true, but
What do they talk about? What do the fucking 20 most influential people on the planet talk about?
how to stay rich.
How to go? Look, Epstein has dirt on all of us, so we gotta get that motherfucker out of here.
No, Hillary looked around the room and went, "How many of you motherfuckers had sex with kids under the age of 16?" And then 8 of them went.
16. Fuck.
8 of them went.
8 of them.
And then
8
they
of
went.
them, Adam.
How many of you had sex with kids under the age of 10?
And
and then-
all of them
and-
raised their hands.
And then 5 go.
No, every single one of them did. Be real.
And then she looked them in the eye and goes, "He needs to die."
I don't.
Well, and
None
I
of
hate
this
to
is
think-
proven, by the way. Anyone
Yeah, oh,
listening,
yeah.
I want to make that clear.
Yeah,
But
Pizzagate. Fucking, anyway, all I'm saying
I'm being
is that-
hyperbolic, obviously, on
I
purpose.
know.
but-
And let's think, these all you're talking
Hillary,
about are
please
some-
don't kill me.
You're just talking about some security cameras and some fucking minimum wage, $30 an hour guards. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk about an area where money talks, I mean, yeah, some dude approaches these guys and says, "Hey, look, you're gonna spend 3 years in jail, and when you get out, you're gonna have more money than you know what to do with." Yeah, sign me up. You want me to kill a pedophile? Like, yeah, got it. Like, it's fine.
or did he pull like an
How
Osama
much?
bin Laden, where maybe at the beginning he was an asset, but then
Oh, they
later
cut
on
him
he went and
loose,
did his
yeah.
own thing, and he got to. But my issue is if we have stuff like what Snowden brought up, the issue of like us like being spied on essentially by all of our digital devices. Wouldn't they? Why would they need someone to go get dirt on people? I'm sure the U.S. government, if they really wanted to know,
Yeah, that's what
Because
I've always thought.
they
too.
have to freaking find it. That's the biggest problem with,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's
Didn't
sort of when I
Epstein got his whole shit because that was the whole point of his plane, the fucking Lolita Express. He brought people to his private island or his private airline. You know, you're on a private jet. How, yeah, you can be the CIA, but how are you getting on that jet? How do
you have
you
to put someone on the jet or put some
yeah.
device on the jet.
Even drones can't photograph that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just so either on his private island and his private sanctuaries things are happening, or his private manor in New York, or his jet. Like you're talking about very hard places to like infiltrate. And like you said, he's protected. Like in some senses, like yes, whether he's a CIA guy or not, if he's just a regular Joe, he does have dirt on a ton of important people. You know what I mean?
He's a regular Joe who is in photographs with the Clintons and the Trumps.
all these people, yeah.
But see,
so why go after him?
But that
Why
doesn't.
risk yourself?
I understand like Bill Clinton was on a plane with him like a stupid amount of times, like 20 something times or whatever.
A stupid amount of times.
You lied.
Stupid amount of times.
Well, if you found out that one of the people you were hanging out with was doing some really fucked up shit, you would not want to be associated with them at all. So I get that.
Unless
as a politician, no.
But B,
if you were friends with them, you might a few times go, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. 20 times? No. As a politician, you would do it 0 times.
It doesn't look good, but it doesn't prove that Bill Clinton was in it doesn't all these people that were allegedly. Hey, no, there's no proof. That does not
prove me, Jason. Both go.
This is what I'll say. He lied about it. That's the telltale sign.
He doesn't lie.
When asked about it, he said he never flew on it. Then later, he redacted his statement too. He flew on it 4 times.
And it's also
like
Bill Clinton.
20-something times with his Secret Service. The problem is, it's like you just lied.
It's also
and
Bill
to me,
Clinton.
That's way more telling.
It's also Bill Clinton.
I mean,
he lies about sex.
Thank you.
Oh, Bill Clinton does, and not any man, any white man. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
okay. In that case, I don't believe anyone that flew on Epstein's jet. I'm just making a point about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing. So if this guy in power, if you know that that's kind of what he's about, if you weren't about that, wouldn't you fucking distance yourself? Be like, hey, look, dude, I don't want any part of what the fuck people say that you're on about.
Yeah, Hillary would, but she's still conscious.
I don't know. It's very clear that he was murdered. Absolutely, 100%. That's why I say it's almost like a joke. Like you can just Wikipedia right now and literally like read what they wrote, and you're like, it reads as a fucking joke. Like, and then there's like a thing like conspiracy theories. Like, what are you talking about? Conspiracy theories? Like, reading about the night of his death is a laughable joke. Like, oh, a guard slipped on a banana pill and knocked himself out before, minutes before he was murdered. Yeah.
It does almost sound like that.
Some little Italian guy popped out of the toilet and strangled him.
Yeah, it's like Final Destination. Epstein slipped on a oil spill that the guy was eating anchovies, and the towel caught around his neck, and he struggled. You can see where he struggled. It's just such a joke.
He accidentally hung himself.
You have the highest of high profile, and that's the thing too. Like, it's not like it's a nobody. It's not Joe Smo, the cab driver. That this is shady. Like, we need to look into this. Maybe Joe Smo was into some stuff. Like, this is a high-profile guy, probably the highest-profile guy in your prison right now.
Which was
And
one of the most
which is
secure prisons that you could
yeah,
possibly
and it's
put
a
someone in.
national case. Like, it's like I say, saying this, it's just a joke. It's a
Highest
joke.
profile, most secure prison, and there was
publicity,
no,
yeah, high profile.
huge publicity, and then there was a very little investigation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. The investigation doesn't even matter. The fact that they didn't just openly lie about the events surrounding it is crazy to me. Like, now that I'm saying that, like, maybe that is what happened, because like, what kind of idiot would release a story like your guards were asleep and your camera's fucked up and your guy hung himself? Like, in the 2 hours of video footage that you're missing. Like,
Those three.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
If that happened to a low level, I don't know,
Yeah, some guy.
you were in for 2 ounces of weed,
Yeah.
and that happened, there would still be a fucking
Yeah,
investigation.
that'd be a statewide investigation. Everyone loses their jobs. Yeah, fucking,
People would be fired.
That's what I'm saying.
The
It's such a
DA
joke.
would be up in arms, freaking the fuck out, going, "What the hell's going on?" But no.
It's such a joke that I'm surprised that that's the official story. Like how?
And then it just went away. It went away.
Well, I thought
Everyone just sort of forgot about it.
Didn't they get the Who's the guy that like examines bodies once you're dead? What do you call that?
Oh, the mortician.
The medical examiner.
But who? The medical. The
person that
lead-
examines body
Yes.
is the medical examiner.
But the lead medical examiner from New York, right? Like the top one came and looked at his body, and I think it's a female.
Yeah,
and
but
I think
it was also
he
the same
said-
person
He
who.
said, "No, it's not foul play." Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like that happened a week or two after it happened, But yeah,
And there was a separate examiner that said that based upon his wounds, it's more likely to be assault than suicide.
yeah, I mean, of course. Well, and I'm pointing out that it's not any medical examiner. You got like the top one in the state. Like, again, it's like, why don't you
Just
have,
to get.
it's one of these, like, if you want to squash conspiracy theories, just get 5 guys. Just get 5 of them to come in and look at the body. Hey guys, we need a lot of you guys. Why? Because this is a really fishy one.
A team of examiners has said.
We need a lot of eyes on this. Just like we talk about 9/11 with the Pentagon thing. If you want to squash this story, release one of the fucking 300 videos you pulled from the surrounding area. Just release one that shows an airplane. Rumor squashed. It's dead. Story's over.
Yeah, my biggest issue is with 9/11, at least, is I was very conspiratorial when I was younger, and then the older I got, the more mature I became. I thought.
Yeah.
The older I got, the more mature I became. I thought, well, maybe they knew about it beforehand. That was as far I was willing to go. And then the Pentagon wants to release a video of the plane that hit, and it's 3 frames.
Yeah, like 10 years later, you're like, this is it. Like, this is okay. That finally, and then it's a joke. It's like, it looks like a fucking pencil.
You see. I think
you
see the tip.
You see the tip of a
in the
missile.
first frame, and then nothing, and then explosion.
Yeah,
and
you see the tip of a Tomahawk cruise missile painted like an airplane.
It took you 10 years.
That was also part of my beef, was the fact of, like, how when 9/11 happened, like, how were we not able to scramble jets fast enough? Like, come on, like, our Air Force doesn't prepare for something like that. You got to be kidding.
For the second plane, I can't. It does kind of seem odd.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like in New York?
At least in New York, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, you could not have known. But
imagine being on that.
You just had a plane.
How about I don't?
No, because I've thought about it. Like, yeah, they took it over with box cutters, but like if I was on that plane, I know it's real easy to say what I would do not being in that situation. But
Yeah.
you're probably gonna, if that situation unfolded and they're like, we have a bomb on here, and then like there's the little box cutters that they're showing me, like, you know, that they're gonna cut us with. I'd be like, we're gonna die anyways if we don't do something.
Yeah, I've always thought, and again, I know it's just like you said. I feel almost fucking hypocritical even
Mhm.
talking about this, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely afraid of airplanes. Every time I'm on one, I'm fucking like, okay, this is it. You know, fuck it, it's about to crash. You know, but yeah. So if you know, if it's pretty certain, like if no action is taken, you will crash.
Mhm.
Like, well, I mean, your only choice, like I would be like, look, biggest guys, fucking let's just go. Yeah, some of us are gonna die, but all of us are gonna die regardless. And guess what? I think Jason Johnston has a better shot of landing a fucking plane than the guy trying to run it into a building. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to fly one. I'm gonna try to put it down easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah. No, and I
Now
agree. I agree.
the
and you know
mind
what? I don't know. You know, you're absolutely right. Like, but we say that, but again, you might just be paralyzed with fear. Like maybe this won't happen. Maybe someone will stop it. You know, like maybe that's what you would be thinking.
the mindset supposedly and we were too young at this point to know it, but the mindset at that time supposedly was that any hijacking was never going to end in catastrophe. It's always a threat.
Oh yeah.
It was always a hijacking for a cause.
Or maybe these people that clearly the passengers probably
We
weren't.
thought they
Yeah,
thought they were rational
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, and
at the
again, the
time.
passengers know they're being hijacked, but they don't know that the destination is a building. They might think, oh, we're gonna be ransomed or something like that. You know, like they're gonna land us somewhere. That's actually a good point. It's not like the guy's on a megaphone like, this is what we're about to do. Yeah.
Even when they threatened death, it was never assumed that that's what was going to be the end destination because
Yeah, nowadays you're absolutely
previously
right.
that
Like
never happened.
nowadays, if any plane hijacking happened, I imagine that absolutely would be every man on that plane would be like, and woman. I mean,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter at that point. Like, there's no way you're gonna see that to the fucking
Yeah,
end.
I will
Like,
take a fucking box cutter to the
To the
chest
hand or whatever. Like, screw
yeah,
it.
right. Like,
as
Yeah.
yeah.
opposed to being flown
Blown
into a
up.
building.
Yeah, I'm a small guy. Yeah, exactly. You gotta stab me in the chest. I'll hold it there, and someone else fucking grabs him. Cause
Yeah.
guess what? Like if you bleed out, I mean, you were gonna crash anyway. Like
Mhm.
I mean, fuck, man.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
At least you could have like done something. And again, we're sitting here in our living room talking
Yeah,
about
we're
it.
sitting in our living rooms comfortable, and it's easy to say how brave you would be in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But,
But
and again,
at the
good
time,
point. Good point that you made.
they didn't think it was a
Yeah,
serious
you made a good
threat.
point. Yeah, today I think most passengers would have that mindset of we have to do something. But back then it is a very much like, what is going on? What's the real danger here?
Mhm.
Like what's the worst they could do? Because you're thinking that they're trying to look out for themselves also,
An
when that is
interest
not the case.
an interesting crossover with two conversations is this one and basically almost now our weekly COVID conversation because my former coworker's father is an airline pilot
Mhm.
and she talks about how the policies that were put in place post 9/11 are now even more strict since the COVID-19 because generally speaking once you take flight after 9/11 if you've flown on planes you've noticed you never see the captain
Yeah.
but when you're getting on the doors opened
Yeah.
and when you're getting off the doors opened now the door is never open
Mhm.
it's just sealed because even the captains do not interact according to her at least, with the crew or the passengers.
That's interesting. I've never
Yeah.
been on a plane, so I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're
They're fun. And dude, really the only rough part is the takeoff and landing. Really, that's it.
Takeoff and landing is the only thing that sucks. Besides that,
and it's only
you
because
forget
of
you're
jitters. Yeah,
on a
it's
plane.
only because of the jitters. And honestly, I'm pretty good about it. It's the takeoff, like forgetting that maybe they'll fuck this up and you'll be dead in 20 seconds. Like, yeah, there's a cat. The takeoff, but hey, get yourself some noise canceling headphones, man, and just listen to some shit. And honestly, that has made my stress levels drop tremendously on takeoff.
You
And
get
landing,
used to it the more
landing,
flexible.
landing, I don't even well, takeoff I do still get jittery.
Landing, I think, is worse.
I think landing's fine. I literally don't even watch. I'm like, oh, we're about to land, whatever, and I just chill, and then you scoot, and you're like, okay, that's it. Like landing does not bother me unless it's like a rough landing. I think we came in on one of these fucking trips we took, and one of the landings was pretty rough. It was raining. They had to do like, they call it like a side landing. They land on a like at an angle, and as they're going, they skid like back straight. Yeah, that one was a little fucking nerve-wracking because I'm like looking at it happen, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was like, this does not look correct.
Jason's like, where's the fucking runway? Because I
Yeah,
can't.
oh, you see it, but you're like, you're not coming at it straight. You're like, what the fuck is that? And yeah, I got really nervous, I remember, but apparently it's a pretty common technique when the wind is strong, gusting in an opposite direction. What you do is you hit it sideways and you straighten out on the tarmac. Like, it's a very common thing they do, you know. And then side note, who the fuck trains to be a pilot, man? That is fucking crazy to me. Like, if you pay me $200,000, I want to be a fucking pilot.
I have a
Like,
buddy who
You would be a pilot for 200 grand?
No, that I would be way too scared to fucking fly a plane, dude.
my
Fuck
buddy he like I think he works in the Bahamas. He has a airplane license. And he makes really good money, but all he does is fly people from like island to island. Real easy
That sounds
job.
amazing. I've
small
been to the
planes.
Bahamas.
Small planes are supposed to actually be way more dangerous. Like big planes hardly
Yeah,
ever
they kill
crash.
everyone.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, so do big planes. I mean, fuck. But the difference is like one big plane crashes every year or two. So statistics are just like ridiculous as long as you're on a big plane. But small planes, like it's something like 90% of yearly aviation deaths just come from small aircraft.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, real quick question though, Jason and Adam. Have you guys heard of Bernie Madoff? You know who that is?
No.
Okay, well, he was similar. The only reason I bring this up is because he's very, very similar to Epstein in the sense of he ripped off a whole bunch of rich people, ended up going to jail, didn't get killed. I'm pretty sure he's still in jail because he ruined like all these people's lives.
Just to chime in real quick, though, to be fair, Madoff was
He's a Ponzi scheme artist. I
it was a
believe.
Ponzi scheme artist. I'm not sure that he had evidence of rich and powerful people fucking kids.
Like he stole all their money, sure, but that was the end of it. Like he couldn't ruin their lives, you know.
It's the same idea of like pissing off the rich and powerful though, because I guarantee you, let's just say
But they get you. That's it. The rich and powerful, they get you and you're in jail. You go to prison. They've accomplished that goal. It's not like they're gonna open a vault and 400 of the most fucking powerful people are about to be known as like committing the most heinous crimes like our society has.
Yeah, ripping off Bill Clinton and then having a picture of Bill Clinton getting his dick sucked by a 14-year-old are not the same thing.
I'm not sure that's the exact thing that they have, but what
I'm just being. You can even call it hyperbolic, even though it's probably true.
that's not being hyperbolic then.
No, I said
Yeah,
I
you're
said you
using-
can call it. You can call it hyperbolic, but it's probably true.
No, I I don't know.
I was just trying to draw a line of the fact that he probably
I
pissed off a
see.
lot of rich and powerful people, but he wasn't killed in jail.
Understandable, but again, it's because his story was done. Like, yeah, they lost that money, but they're rich. Like, they'll figure it out. Unless he did make some people really broke.
Yeah, Julian
But like I
Assange.
said,
Julian Assange isn't dead either, and he's pissed off a lot of rich and powerful people. Even
but
though
they
they're
took-
trying to.
But they took away his power. That's the point. Epstein still had power. He was in prison, but he, just because he was in prison didn't mean that his story was over at all. Like, he still had dirt on all these people potentially.
Yeah, he needed to go away. He needed to disappear.
Yeah, just him going to prison, and honestly, him going to prison is probably the worst. You back the man into a corner. What's he supposed to do? Of course, he's gonna come after you because that's the only weapon that he has left to play.
He's gonna threaten.
Yeah.
Either you help me or.
Yeah. Here's all the dirt that I have on you. Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, the Ponzi scheme guys stole your money, but we got him in prison for the rest of his life. Like, he's gonna rot.
Well, they're still trying to have him give up the money. So I guess there was more of a thing of keeping him alive than.
How could they not find his money? They know what they're does best.
I think that was
Panama
one of the things.
Papers, man. I mean, people got money.
Yeah, I
everywhere.
love how the fucking Panama Papers came out and then no one gave a fuck about it.
Was it news? Was the Epstein thing news that rich and powerful people do the terrible things?
Yeah, it's really I want to call it.
Wealthy people have all their money in offshore bank accounts that can't be tracked. Like, yeah, I mean, these things exist. Like,
I want to call it depressing, but
the Panama
it's really it's sad that because our generation just accepts that this is the reality. Whenever it comes out in the news, we go, huh.
Yeah, I watched a movie about that. You've seen a movie about you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess it's surprising that no one did anything about the Panama. It's like I guess that's the surprising part. Hey, this isn't surprising that this exists. So now that we know about it and we have, the proof, what do we do now? Nothing, because those are all the people with the money.
Yeah, we sort of assume that the adults or the people in charge are going to do something, but now we're the adults and we just go, yeah, that's a thing. But even the boomers who probably are our bosses don't do shit because they go, well, yeah, we know, but we don't really go after stuff like that. And you're like, what? It isn't that your job? I mean, it is, but
are you happy? Are you happy you went down this road? That's I said before the fucking podcast, just don't do it. It's a whole podcast on its own. I swear to God, we've talked about conspiracies for a fucking day.
It really is. Because I finished it today, I'm not going to wait another fucking week to talk about it. We are discussing. We are discussing Final Fantasy VII.
Mike, looks like you're right. Looks like it's gonna be short. Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
You wanted to wait.
The materia system.
We gotta let Adam go. I can see him. He's seething to tell us what he thinks.
You should have avoided some of that other shit, man.
Well,
no,
give us the rundown, Adam. What do you think?
No, Jason, you wanted to wait until I had finished it.
3:31 a.m.
You wanted to wait until I had
You're right.
finished.
I wanted you to talk about I wanted you to talk about something that you actually played. You're absolutely right. I didn't want you to talk about the end of a game that you had again.
Yeah, so I've finished the game and now I want to talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Spoiler alert, by the way, if you have not finished Final Fantasy VII, do not listen.
Mike, what I'm gonna need you to
I'm
what's
so
your
excited.
first?
I need you to go in OBV, whatever it's called, and take
OBJ.
conspiracy shit splice it and edit it right here.
We could do a two-parter, man. We
And then
could do a
look,
two-parter.
Here we go. You ready? No one talk. Yeah. So anyway, Final Fantasy VII. That's your cue.
Dude. First of all,
There's no.
I'm not even gonna talk about the. I am gonna talk about it.
It's not
But
that much to discuss,
I am so
honestly.
annoyed. But I'm so annoyed by the fact that there are. I think I counted 6 final bosses.
Isn't that a good thing, though?
What
It's a Final
feels
Fantasy game. What are your final bosses? Once you get done with the highway fight and you go to the portal.
no. The first final boss is within the Shinra building.
That's not the final boss.
Who
You're
takes?
not out of Midgar
Yeah.
yet.
I realize that, but
You're talking about Rufus?
it feels no. Rufus is the second final boss.
Oh my god.
I'm not the fucker
You're
who.
talking about Genova Dreamweaver.
Yeah, you have to kill
The tentacles?
every tentacle just to do damage.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the Dreamweaver took a little bit.
Such a fucking Final Fantasy.
But
I was never worried about dying.
Me
but
neither.
Jesus, that was an annoying ass
And
fight.
look, it had such a bomb ass track. I didn't even care, dude. Dude, seriously, that Genova remake, especially when it kicks in the third phase, man, I was like, yeah, I can do this fight for a fucking hour with this shit.
They
man.
remade the music?
Yeah, they redid the whole sound. Dude,
I mean, they remixed it.
The soundtrack is like 120 tracks. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, it's dude, it's the best thing about the game is the soundtrack, hands down.
It's like a track for every room you walk into. Jesus.
I think, well, it's because they have like
that's part. It's part of the game is finding music.
Yeah, they have like a whole jazz album. They made a whole that you. It's like 30 tracks, but the game itself. So if you have a battle theme, they have 7 remixes for that battle theme, depending on like what part of the game you're at and stuff. So that's the thing. I guess you could say the soundtrack is padded, but I mean the tracks are amazing. Like the tracks are incredible. The game itself might be like a 9 out of 10 or something, but the soundtrack is like a 10 out of 10. It's an 11 out of 10. It's probably the best soundtrack I've ever seen in like a game. Really.
Is it still Nobuo Uematsu? I think.
Yeah, it's still the same guy.
Because basically, you took a soundtrack that was 20 years old, and then you were given a shit ton more money and a lot more instruments, and you upgraded all the classic songs.
Yeah, that's what I give them credit for. Like every song is new a little bit, but it's not all fucked up. Like it is good. Like I mean, you know immediately what you're listening to, and they might take a liberty here and there, but I mean the song is there. Like it's man, and that's again I say the Genova Quickening is what the track's called. But you fight Dreamweaver. Man, like that track just goes so hard. I mean, in phase 3, once the Genova theme kicked in, they were like teasing it, and I was like, man, they better play it. And then like it kicked up, and I was just like,
they better play it.
Yes, man. Like,
but anyway, we'll get to the
Dreamweaver. Then
it took a minute. What? First, the Rufus fight
was easy. Moving on.
Oh. Honestly, I found the Rufus fight annoying.
It was annoying. I mean, you knew to take out his dog early.
Yeah, obviously you attack the dog first, but it's just
his fight.
He just keeps. If you get too close, he shoots you. If you do this, he shoots you. If you do that, he shoots you. I'm like,
Same thing happened to me. I died once, and then when I got to him again, that's the second stage of his fight. I immediately was like, well, I can't get to him with physical attacks, and I cast just like the weakest lightning on him, and he's stunned. And I was like, got it. It's over.
Did you ever because I started to feel this way, the more and more boss fights that I went through and the deeper the story went, because of what was occurring, I was going, is this really only going to be one game? Because I started to feel at first as if it was.
You knew it was multiple games.
No. They said it was multiple games.
Oh, you thought it was going to wrap up there?
But the closer I got to the end, and the more I started to see things that occur, very, very late in the original game, I was going, are they trying to pull a fast one? And did they
No, I
really?
just-
Did they
I
really
just-
just make one game?
I just knew that they were setting up for like original sequels. That's all they were doing. And that's kind of what they ended up doing. Is whether for better or for worse, the next installments will be, I guess, mostly completely original. They might follow the same beats, but different things are going to happen, or it might be a completely new game. And that's kind of what's scary, is they can make this really good or really bad, fuck it up completely.
So, what were the story elements that you didn't want to talk about last week? Was it mainly just fucking
Yeah,
Sephiroth
no, it's just the ending
being the
of the
final
game.
boss?
No, it was the fact that the game.
And is Sephiroth, was he actually there? What's the whole deal with you beat one guy and he turns into another person?
Have you
And
ever
then
played Final Fantasy before?
yes, but I've also played Final Fantasy VII.
All right,
And
so explain to me the story of that game. My brother actually pointed out a good thing. If you,
but I did forget about Mother, so I've obviously forgot.
Nova.
I've obviously forgotten Final Fantasy VII completely.
So if you look at when Cloud goes to the edge of creation to like he fights Sephiroth in that little quick fight, and then you look at the end of Final Fantasy VII when he goes down like a little portal to fight Sephiroth and Meteor. It's like scene for scene exactly the same. Like I didn't notice it while I was playing, but Josh pointed out. He's like, when Cloud goes to Edge of Creation, it does the same exact like weird tunnel thing, and the shot's the same. Like he's coming down and Sephiroth's sitting there.
No, that's why I was. That's why I felt like.
Yeah, and I was.
Are they seriously trying to wrap this up in one game?
People have obvious theories. There's a ton of theories. But anyway, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I think the Sephiroth at the edge of creation was 100% Sephiroth from the future. He has memories, or he knows the future. But the Sephiroth that you fought when you were fighting Fate or whatever, I don't know. That's debatable if that was Sephiroth a lot or not. A lot of people, Josh thinks it is. I don't necessarily think it was, because when you killed him, he exploded into the whispers. I don't know if he was like a manifestation. I don't know what that was. It could have been him, but I mean, regardless of if that was him or not, it doesn't matter because he's still alive. So.
I mean,
and the fucking whispers.
Isn't that Sephiroth's thing though? Like, not even counting Final Fantasy VII Remake, but like Advent Children, he was like summoned through some other weird way.
Through the life force. He was a corruption in the life force, and those dudes were Sephiroth clones, just like the reunion people. So he can manifest himself in those people, which is what he does in this remake. He does it twice, I think. The guy that you fight at the Shinra Tower, that Sephiroth is a reunion clone. I mean, you see that. It shows it to you.
Once they showed, what's his name? Is it Zach?
You're talking about Zach. Yeah.
But once they showed Zach, I was like, ruh-roh. That's when I started to go.
That's the one thing that
this is not going to be one game. If you make this one fucking game, I'm going to be pissed.
That's the one thing that they did that everyone. That's like your big question mark. So Zach.
No, and the little you go into the room that shows you all the
projection room.
Projection room.
No,
and it shows the meteor and all this late game, and you're like. After I saw that and Zach and shit, I was like, what the
Zach's really the only big question mark, because we clearly see like Zach doesn't die where he dies in the old games. He doesn't die, and he's carrying Cloud. Is that another timeline? Did the past change? Is that what Cloud did? And his Sephiroth gives him, you have 7 seconds or whatever the fuck he says. But what will you do with it? And you don't see anything happen, but Zach lives. So either Zach is alive in this timeline now, and you're going to run into him, obviously, or that's a parallel timeline. I don't know. That is the big question mark. Like, no one knows what the fuck that's about. They just decided, hey, throw that shit in. We need people to fucking talk about this shit. So.
And they showed the grand finale, Red 13, final shot.
Dude, that was the
When I
fucking
saw that,
craziest,
no,
man.
I'm telling you, that's why I keep thinking when I was playing the game, they're not seriously. They didn't fuck us over and lie to
No,
us.
that was just them
No,
saying,
now once I beat the game, it's clear.
yeah.
But when I saw that
Oh,
scene,
that was the dopest.
I
That was
went,
the dopest
this
shit,
is the
man.
last scene of the game.
But so I guess that's the bad ending now, because that ending, Red 13's race lives, but the humans die out. You know, the human race is dead.
Oh,
in
that's
that
a good
future.
theory. Is
'Cause
that
that's
we're
like,
they're
yeah,
trained.
that's like 1,000 years later. The human race is dead, but it's a good ending for the planet. The planet lives. But I guess it's a bad ending for people. So that's what they're trying to change. But that was, dude, when you start seeing glimpses of the future, man, yeah, and you see the last scene, I was like, yo, these guys did not just throw the last scene of Final Fantasy VII at me. Like, holy shit, man.
When
Dude,
I
I was
saw
tripping out through that whole fight. I was like, dude, this shit is incredible.
when I saw it, I was like, what the fuck?
But yeah, I mean, so, and I guess that's why I didn't want to discuss it last week. I mean, now and now you know that they beat fate. So what Sephiroth says it himself, be careful because what is going to happen does not yet exist. Like it now anything can happen, technically anyone can die. And I
And
guess,
Barrett gets stabbed.
but that doesn't matter because the time ghost didn't let him die. The whispers brought him back to life.
Your theory about the whispers, I
I knew it.
believe to be the accurate
They're
argument.
fate. No, they were fate. They're
You
there to
they
reverse
are
the
there to
course of
prevent.
things.
Yeah, they're there to prevent things that did not occur in the original game.
And
you were right. So
timeline.
props on that.
Yeah, it was obvious.
So does that mean there's going to be multiple endings then?
I technically.
I mean, it's Square Enix. There's no timeline.
The Final Fantasy VII timeline technically happened. But this is like an offshoot of their characters. Now that they have escaped Megara, everything from here on out technically hasn't happened. It's not bound by the rules of the old timelines. They have defeated fate or what have you. So, but that's why I say they can fuck it up really bad. Because now when you have part 2, do you want a game that follows the beat for beat? Because I do. I still want the same game remade. I
want them to do what they did with part 1, which is
where you're
give
gonna
me a same. If you want to do some,
yeah, we're gonna go meet Sid. We're gonna go to the Gold Saucer. We're gonna go get Holy. We're gonna try to stop Sephiroth from getting Meteor. I want all those story beats, but I guess things now do have to happen different, or else it's like a huge cop out. You know what I mean? Like if the story's 1-to-1, you're just gonna be like, well, what the fuck was the point of all that shit? Like, which brings up the other point. They can really fuck it up because now if they wanted to, they can technically just, we're gonna make our own original story. It can be whatever we want it to be. They're gonna go see Mickey and Goofy in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 4, guys. I mean, they can write that shit if they want to. So yeah, they can fuck it up. I mean, I love it, and I loved what they did.
I don't think they
but
will.
Don't get me wrong, I am so afraid that they might fuck it up. But I mean, yeah, after the love and care that they put into this one, it is hard for me to see them like destroying the story when they stuck to it. Like they stuck to it so faithfully. And now the same people are just gonna be like, yeah, let's just fuck it up. Like, let's throw it in a blender. I can't really see them doing that. Especially, I hate to go back to that soundtrack, but look, anyone that gives a shit about, like, that much of a shit about the game that they're making to keep that stuff faithful, well, I mean, it's hard for me to think that they're gonna ruin it. Now they're gonna. A lot of people I've already read. I mean, this game's getting rave reviews, but a lot of people have criticisms on the way the game ended because, yeah, people don't like change. I mean, it is different, and people were sold a remake.
Worried. I'm not.
So,
I wouldn't be angry.
I don't know that I'm worried. I'm excited. I'll buy it day one. Absolutely, I will. I'll buy whatever shit they pump out.
Oh, obviously, but that final, especially man, that final shot with
No,
everybody and everyone, and you're basically standing in what is the open world
yeah.
part of the game. I was like,
Here we go. Aerith, what's the last line? She says, I miss it, the still sky. And I was like, oh, that's a good line. So it's the fear of the unknown. I was like, oh, that's such a good ass line, man.
no, it was. I was oof, 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 oof.
Yeah.
My thing is not so much because I haven't played the game yet. I've just
Yeah.
watched a lot from like watching Adam, and I learned a lot from what you guys have described about the game because I did beat the first one, Final Fantasy
Okay,
VII.
you played the original. All right.
Yeah, it was actually my third try. I failed the first 2 times as a kid, but
Yeah, it was a tough one.
yeah, I always just started all over too. I never went back. I was like, I have failed this time. I'm gonna try
He's
all
like,
over again.
fuck it,
Yeah,
start over.
exactly.
Every time
exactly.
Aerith dies, he's like, I must have done something. Restart this game.
But I think what I'm psyched about it is what it means for future Final Fantasy games. Because, like I said, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite one. I would love to see them do a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah, not just HD textures.
Because look how successful Final Fantasy VII Remake is. Like, I feel like this opens the doorway to the other Final Fantasies, like 8, 9, even 10 being remade.
It's the best-selling console exclusive I think Sony has put out. The fastest selling, at least. Not the best selling overall, but it's definitely the fastest selling, I think I read. Because I think they sold like 3.5.
No, it's definitely the fastest selling single title within
That being said, Animal Crossing is beating the shit out of it.
a certain
In terms of
time
sales,
period.
dude, Animal Crossing is fucking dominating. Like they've sold the most. They've already sold the most digital copies of any console game ever. Animal Crossing. I
Wow.
think they crossed 5 million last week, and that's no other game has sold that. Now again, that's consoles. It's not PC.
Well,
That's
that doesn't
crazy.
surprise me, but I mean,
Shit. It's
I
surprised.
still want
5
to.
million?
I want
I
to
don't
pivot.
even, I think that's more than any other Animal Crossing game in the fucking franchise. So now you're not even talking about physical copies. Like,
That's more than any Animal Crossing. You think?
yeah, I think the best selling one was the New Leaf, which was the 3DS one. Or that was
a
Wild
3DS was
West.
the best selling
Yeah,
before this.
I think it sold like 3.9 or 4.2 million, something like that. It was a big. I mean, it was a big deal for the 3DS. I mean,
Wow, no, that would be a huge fucking deal for the 3DS.
yeah, dude, like 100 million people owned the 3DS. I mean, 3DS was a popular fucking system, dude.
Well, what Final Fantasy besides 7 would you like to see remastered?
They've already remastered the one.
The
I
one
want.
that you
Well,
I'm not done with 7.
Go ahead.
6. I'd like to see them redo 6. They haven't redone 6. They
Okay.
they redid 4 and 5 for the 3DS with 3D models, so it looks really good. Like it is
So
definitely
they
a remake.
upgraded it.
Yeah, no. It's not like how they did with Final Fantasy VIII. It is like a completely ground up rebuild. It's just not a PS4. It was a 3DS ground up remake. But I mean, they're very well done games with all like the cinematics. There were no cinematics. They created cinematics. It's all 3D.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's very good for what they are. I really enjoyed them. But 6 they have not done. They didn't do a 3DS remake. They've never done a remaster. They did a re-release. They packaged it with Chrono Trigger, I think,
They did.
together
They
for
did. I bought that.
PlayStation 1. Yeah, me too. And Chrono Trigger had the anime fucking video.
Akira Toriyama dude did that.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, he did because those weren't in the Super Nintendo version, but he.
I still need to play Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, you do.
That's
One of
my
our
great.
best friends.
That's my great shame.
Yeah.
One of our
is
best
not
friends would be so
having
angry
ever
at you
played
right
Yeah.
No, he is.
Oh.
I've admitted it. I've admitted it to him, and he has a
God.
great anger about it.
Dude, it's a short game. It's really only like 20 hours. It is not long. You can hash it out in like
20 hours?
Yeah, it's a short game. It is not long.
I want Tactics to be remade. Tactics
Ooh, I
was
think
so
you
much
and everyone
fun.
else, man.
That game was a lot
They
of fun.
did remake. They remade Final Fantasy Tactics. They made a sequel for it for the PSP. Obviously,
That
it's
was
made
the it was like the turn-based,
yeah, it was
almost
Blocks.
the block.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna. It's sort of just like you did it. Yeah.
Turn-based. Yeah, it's that was popular PS1 era. You had like
Well,
Final
all
Fantasy
Final
Tactics
Fantasies previously were turn-based.
and Armored Core. I think fit in that genre. No, not Armored Core. Frontier. Fucking Final Frontier. I forget what it was called. You had the mechs. I don't know. There's a lot of those games on PlayStation. Anyway, Final Fantasy 7. Hit it. Go.
Do you think that, first of all,
Oh,
ending was amazing. Fucking Sephiroth showing up, amazing.
I don't know. I thought they blew their load on that. I was like,
Yeah, honestly, that is. I'm worried.
me
It was.
too.
It was.
How
It was
do your
amazing, but I'm worried.
How do your power levels scale when Cloud's already like jumping up, cutting trains in half and shit? I'm like, I mean, how much tougher do you get, man? I'm wondering
Exactly.
if they'll play some bullshit like because they were in like another realm of reality. They were, they were all tougher because everyone seemed really tough. Like Barrett was using his final limit break, and Red was Tifa and Ares were like one-on-oneing Sephiroth too. I was like, man, everyone just got really fucking strong all of a sudden.
No, that last fight, I was super fucking worried the second it started because I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I have to fight the Power
I just
Rangers.
went. No. I just went and changed all of Cloud's materia because I thought I was gonna one-on-one people, and then Tifa and Eric joined me.
Make sure you fucking get all your people equipped because you're about to game, man. Literally you. Go back and equip your shit, you dumbass. It's the end of the game. And I said, maybe I should. And I did.
I didn't, and nothing changed.
Did you die? Did you die at all in that end segment?
After you go through the portal?
Yeah.
No.
So I died the first
Did
time.
anyone die, or did I do a party wipe?
Did you game over? Yeah.
No.
That's what I mean. So I gamed over once, and it was when I fought all the Power Rangers come together and they become Bahamut. They called it like a weird Bahamut. And I didn't heal going into that. I was like, oh, whatever. These guys have been piss easy.
Yeah, but I think I was a higher level than you because
You might have been because I rushed it. I was only like 32
yeah,
or something.
I think the fact that you beat it last week, I figured because you didn't do all the side quests of that.
I did do the side quests, but I didn't do any of the arena stuff. I didn't get Leviathan. I didn't do fucking any of that.
Oh, I had Leviathan. I did all that.
No.
The only thing I have not done yet is get Bahamut.
That's pretty easy to do once you beat the game, honestly. But yeah, they became Bahamut and they hit me with fast and it dropped 2 of them. And I was like, oh fuck. And I tried to like Phoenix down Barrett and I ended up wiping. Well, when you wipe, you don't start like on that fight. You start like outside of the portal again. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? It was like 20 minutes back. And I was just like, ugh. And it was already like 10 a.m. And I was like, oh my God, like my life is ruined.
10 a.m. as in you spent all night.
I was up all night. Yeah, like I don't think I had work, but I mean, yeah, it was 10 a.m. like in the fucking afternoon. And I was like, oh my God, I know I'm at the end of this game. Like, come the fuck on. And then I was fine, and then I fought Sephiroth, and he wasn't that big of a deal either.
Yeah, and then Sephiroth is.
I mean, he's doing some wacky shit. He's
basically a fucking. He's basically a joke. Like he's just more frustrating than.
Yeah, than a common boss. But as long as you play smart and cast your shield.
But I guess that's kind of how he was in the original as well.
Yeah, he wasn't so tough. Yeah.
it was never scary. It's just ugh.
Yeah,
It takes forever.
well, and especially, I don't know if like if you died to Sephiroth, would you be kicked out of the portal? I know that would be frustrating. I'd fucking like quit. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
coming back. Coming back tomorrow. I'm not doing this shit right
I'm
But
pretty
yeah,
sure I would flip out.
anyway, I mean, I would like to talk about it more. It's just 4 a.m. God. Should have talked about conspiracy theories.
I
Should have
mean,
saved that for a whole nother episode.
how much more is there of Final
Not
Fantasy?
really. I mean, I guess we could talk about theories, because everyone has a theory now. Will Aerith die? Will someone else die in Aerith's place? Will Cloud die and Zack become your main protagonist? Obviously it was all according to Sephiroth's plan. He wanted you to kill Fate because he lost in the original and he doesn't want to lose this time. That's why he let you do that. That's why he let you win. Because you see in the Edge of Creation, you can't beat him. Like he basically toys with Cloud. And he's like, all right, like you're shit, but hey, I needed you guys to win. So
Oh my god! And not even did they show the end of the game with Red 13, but they did that quick little clip with materia.
they did that earlier in the
bouncing.
game. They did that in the church when she talks about her materia. They did that back in like chapter 8 or 10 when Cloud falls to the roof. She's like, here's your materia, you dropped that. He's like, oh, thanks. And
I
she's
must
like,
not have.
and she says, I have one too, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, she says, I have one too. And Cloud's like, so does everyone. And she's like, yeah, but mine's special. And he's like, how? And she's like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything. And then he glimpses that same exact scene. It's the same exact scene where you see the materia fall. And it's like, wait a fucking second. Like, how can Cloud see the fucking future? Like, that was my big, like, what is going on moment. Which
I'm
clearly
no.
Aerith and Sephiroth could see the future. Aerith knew what the fuck was going on. I mean, she knew what was up, and so did Sephiroth. So I don't know why they are immune. Maybe it's because they're like part of the live stream or something. I don't know. Theories.
I think they chose the word remake
Intentionally,
very
very
intentional.
carefully. They said, yeah, right.
It's
remake
not.
on that.
It's not the word remastered. It's the word remake.
Final Fantasy 7.1. You cannot advance. I've already seen this.
You're right. This was a quick review. I gotta say.
I'm trying.
I mean, I've looked at the clock. It wasn't that long of a review, honestly.
I mean, the one thing I did notice behind you, though, Adam, that canvas is whoever put that up. That is professionally done, my friend.
That's nice.
That looks very nice.
Look at the white lines, Mike. They line up.
Wow,
They line
I didn't
up
even
now.
notice the white lines. Oh man.
Yeah, that's how you know, man, because those were not in line. They were like this far fucking off of each other.
Not now. Not now.
It looks good. You fixed it up, man.
Agreed.
I hired an expert. Paid him good money.
Let's see. What do you pay him in booze?
Gil.
Yeah.
I paid him in Gil. I paid him in Gil.
You'll get your Gil mark. Or whatever the fuck he says.
So.
Call it.
Okay.
Throw it in the towel.
Mike.
He can play Final Fantasy for like 13 hours.
I don't have to.
Man.
I just have to go use the facilities. I can pause if you want. The life force will leave this conversation.
No, I pretty much said my piece.
I've said your piece, and that's fine.
Split this one up into 2 parts. I don't know.
Mike, tell the people where they can find you.
Below at the Renrag or at the _Renrag. Jason has no contact information, so we can just skip Jason.
I know I've just said my full name on this podcast though, which was a mistake.
Don't worry, I'll just
You
snip that
did.
out. I'll just
You
snip
did.
that out.
Earlier.
He's gonna need to blur that.
As soon as it left my lips, I said, "Oh, why did I say that?"
Yeah, I had the same thought process.
I'll just cut this part out too. It'll be
It's
fine.
okay if
No, because this part's
Goog-
important. But
I'm googling myself and I can't find myself, so good for me.
my name is Adam. You
It's
can
'cause I
find
don't have
me.
a social media presence. That's why you can't find me. Fuck it.
Boom. He's invisible. I have just recently made a public Twitter. You can find me at XAlienXTV on Twitter, following a lot of esports personalities, political personalities. You can find those two topics mainly. With Jason gone, it's almost perfect for what we're going for and just being original. So that will be all this week for Nerdy, Drunk, and Stone. Please be sure to comment down below, share it with your friends, like and subscribe. And to get updates about new videos, be sure to pound that bell icon. And we will see you next week, mostly on Saturdays.